Chapter 1020. Hearing Prince Li Ming's words, the Queen Devil Queen instantly came to her senses. Seeing the hundreds of undead Shura above the half-saint level that had survived, these were the essence of the undead army. The countless undead that had turned into ashes were not worth mentioning at all. With this group of undead Shura above the half-saint level, they could still wipe out Cloud Sky City, but the scene might be much uglier. Moreover, in fact, they had already followed Prince Li Ming's plan to use the undead Shura above the half-saint level to wipe out the high-level group of the Council of Light. But at this moment, under the huge blow in front of her, the Queen Devil Queen couldn't care so much. Suddenly, her face became distorted, and she said sternly, "Yes, kill them all! All undead monarchs, undead lords! Shura monarchs, Shura lords, rush in and kill them all!" With the Queen Devil Queen's order, the last few hundred undead Shura above the half-saint level stopped trembling and trembling. Then, they adjusted their energy bodies and rushed into Cloud Sky City ferociously. Their goal was to slaughter all the high-level energy creatures in Cloud Sky City. However, at this moment, there was a loud explosion in the entire Cloud Sky City. The batch of super high-power crystal power units that had never been activated, as well as countless medium-sized crystal power units, were all operating. Then, the few towers in Cloud Sky City that had never been activated suddenly condensed. Pa! It was no longer fine lightning that filled the sky, but focused lightning. Hundreds of thick lightning bolts that were hundreds of miles long, crisscrossed and struck the ground. Swish, 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 swish. They struck crazily without stopping for a moment. Almost every bolt was equivalent to Yang Dingtian's mystic fire lightning. Although the lightning just now was gorgeous and covered hundreds of miles of the sky. But the power was not extremely high, so it couldn't kill the undead above the half-saint level. Now, all the crystal power units, the super giant power units, and the largest wireless lightning tower were activated together. Although the area covered by the lightning was much smaller, the power was much, much higher. On average, the lethality of each bolt of lightning had increased by many times. Therefore, even the saint-level and saint-level undead Shura couldn't resist it. If one were to describe it in terms of cannons, they would have been shooting all over the sky, using scatter bullets and exploding bullets. Now, it was a targeted killing with live ammunition. Immediately, Prince Li Ming and Queen Devil Queen looked on in horror. One by one, the half-step Saint Shura and the undead were instantly annihilated. However, the saint-level undead Shura was incomparably tenacious. After being hit, it only trembled in place and lost the ability to move, but it still didn't turn into ashes. But then, dozens of lightning bolts suddenly gathered together and struck down. In an instant, the saint-level undead and Shura were turned into ashes one after another, disappearing before the eyes of the Queen Devil Queen and the evil warriors. Queen Devil Queen stared blankly at this scene, then let out a miserable cry. "No!" She spat out a mouthful of blood, then immediately fell backward and fainted. At the same time, the saint-level and half-step saint experts in Cloud Sky City shot out like lightning. Prince Li Ming didn't immediately help the Queen Devil Queen. Instead, he used his fastest speed to place his sword on the neck of the Shura vulture, who was about to escape. On the side of the Council of Light, the half-step saints and saint-level experts captured the evil warriors as fast as lightning. The two saint-level experts, Neru and the Mermaid Queen, directly rushed towards Princess Mu Dan, wanting to capture her. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to capture Princess Mu Dan and even Queen Devil Queen. However, Princess Peony's beautiful body suddenly turned into ashes and scattered smoke. She directly turned into an energy enveloped by an evil spirit and flew away like a meteor. Her speed was so fast that it was impossible to catch up. Of course, it was useless even if they caught up. She had already abandoned her physical body and turned into energy. The Queen Devil Queen's magic staff suddenly flew out, grabbed the Devil Queen's body, and flew away like lightning. Prince Li Ming gritted his teeth. In an instant, his body exploded into pieces and turned into a ball of evil spirit energy. He still placed his sword on the Shura vulture's neck and fled as fast as he could. The remaining evil warriors all used the Rubik's Cube. Bang, 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 countless evil warriors began to self-destruct, turning into energy and fleeing frantically. However, some still didn't have the chance and were directly captured. Moreover, after self-destructing, the third, fourth, and fifth grade evil warrior's soul power was quickly exhausted even under the protection of the evil spirit. Therefore, there were many evil spirit martial artists who escaped, but there were also many evil spirit martial artists who were captured. This time, Yang Dingtian's Council of Light had truly obtained a great victory. Then, the first thing he did was to lock these evil spirit warriors into an incomparably huge crystal energy array. Even a saint-level expert would find it difficult to escape from these energy arrays, let alone these third and fourth grade evil warriors. Most of those who were captured were level 3, 4, or 5 evil martial artists. There was only one second grade evil warrior, and it was the unlucky Joyous Palace's young master, Gudu Wuhuan. Crown Prince Li Ming led the majority of the evil spirit martial artists and fled in panic. In one breath, they fled directly to the sky above the underground ghost city before stopping and gradually recovering their bodies. Then, the entire evil spirit army's morale was at an all-time low. No one was angry at all. The Devil Queen's deceased concubine slowly woke up. Actually, she wouldn't be injured at all because she had the primordial evil spirit in her body. However, the mental and psychological blow was something that no evil spirit could make up for. Her beautiful face was still as pale as ever. She whispered, "Li Ming, was the vulture snatched away?" Li Ming said, "No, I took her hostage immediately." "That's good." The Devil Queen sighed and said, "She still has great use, great use. She is even the key to His Majesty the Demon King's breakthrough to demigod." Prince Li Ming trembled. He really didn't know about this. Then, the Devil Queen looked at the pyramid below. After the Shura vulture left, the undead naturally stopped teleporting over. Previously, the Devil Queen looked at the pyramid below, and the underground ghost city. They were all magnificent, and she couldn't get enough of them. But now, looking at the pyramid and the underground ghost city below, she only felt incomparable disgust. These two things seemed to be mocking her all the time. Twice. A total of 2 times. In the first Doomsday War, she was full of confidence. She even played games with the Council of Light at the beginning. It was like a cat that caught a mouse and didn't bite it to death immediately. It had to play with it for a while before killing it. In the end, Yang Dingtian's gaze returned and used the Naga royalty sword soul to wipe out the Legion of Doom completely. This caused her to suffer a huge blow. Therefore, she willfully launched the Second Doomsday War, directly breaking the original strategy, and using the undead army in advance. In fact, the Ghost Emperor Wentian shouldn't have agreed to her request. However, because of his feelings for her, in order to vent her anger, the Ghost Emperor Wentian agreed. Therefore, she was full of ambition again to wash away the shame. Moreover, she was also completely confident of winning. The heroism before the war was still fresh in her memory. First, it was the 100 million undead army, and then there was an endless stream of undead army. She would definitely win, and her undead army would definitely wipe out the human countries. She had no doubt about this. Therefore, before the war, she made a declaration of doomsday to the entire human countries. Billions of undead army would definitely cover the entire human countries. She would build ghost cities everywhere. She had even thought about how to cross the sea. She would use her shocking energy to create an undead dragon. She could allow Saint-level Shura and half-Saint-level Shura to ride this undead dragon across the vast sea. Then, she would build underground ghost cities on other continents. Even though these undead dragons would never return and would be completely reduced to ashes at dawn, she didn't care. Cloud Sky City was only the first battle. She had already said that within an hour, the entire Cloud Sky City would be wiped out. And the result, after a quarter of an hour, her undead army was completely wiped out. How did Yang Dingtian do it? How did he manage to control such a shocking amount of lightning energy? This was something that the Devil Queen didn't want to think about at all. In fact, she didn't even want to think about anything now. She had already suffered the greatest blow in her life. She only wanted the Demon King Wentian to return quickly, and then she could put everything down. Is there any news about His Majesty the Demon King? The Devil Queen asked. Prince Li Ming shook his head and said, No. The Devil Queen closed her beautiful eyes and sighed. Li Ming, the evil energy can change a person's nature, but it can't change a person's wisdom. I'm not suitable to be a leader. More than 200 years ago, I couldn't unite the entire Tiando League army and gather them into one hand. Now I'm not suitable to be in charge of the Empire of Darkness. Everything is up to you. From now on, you have the final say in the Temple of Annihilation. Prince Li Ming said in a low voice. Yes, Devil Queen. He had finally gotten what he wanted and obtained the power of the Empire of Darkness. However, the 2 trump cards in his hands had been used up. The Legion of Doom was almost completely annihilated. The undead army was also completely annihilated, although there were still countless undead on the Underworld Empire's side. However, most of the Saint-level and half-Saint-level undead were lost. Next, how to appease Ghost Emperor Wentian's anger was a problem. Moreover, nearly half of the evil warriors had been captured. Dongli had also become a captive. Next, he only had one last card in his hand, and that was Little Western Paradise. However, Prince Li Ming didn't feel discouraged at all. Instead, he was filled with endless fighting spirit. He looked at the distant Cloud Sky City and said coldly, Yang Dingtian, the next battle is between you and me. At this time, in Cloud Sky City, Yang Dingtian was counting the greatest harvest in history. What harvest? Saint-level and half-Saint-level undead energy essence. A huge harvest. Chapter 1021. When the undead and Shura were destroyed, a hell magic crystal would condense. However, in the Ghost Hell region, even the hell magic crystals condensed by killing the undead would quickly dissipate. Only the hell magic crystals condensed by the Hell Shura could condense for a relatively long time. And on the great taboo day of the second dark realm, there was a feast of the undead. At that time, the countless undead that had been destroyed, under the power of the 2 moons, the hell magic crystals of the undead could float in the air for a relatively long time. But now, they were in Cloud Sky City, so when the countless undead and Shura were destroyed by lightning, the hell magic crystals did appear, but they were almost immediately turned to ashes. So, even if the Shura Vulture wanted to revive these undead, it was too late. In this great battle, Yang Dingtian gave an energy jade box to almost every Infinity Grand Master level powerhouse. They only had one mission, which was to rush up and harvest the hell magic crystals the moment the undead and Shura were killed. This time, too many undead were destroyed, no less than 100 million. Logically speaking, there should be some harvest. In the end, there was no harvest. In the incomparably crazy hunting, countless low-level undead and Shura didn't even have the chance to produce hell magic crystals before they were directly turned to ashes. As for the higher-level undead and Shura, after being destroyed by lightning, the hell magic crystals disappeared in the blink of an eye. It was very difficult to even see them, let alone harvest them. Yang Dingtian concluded that after the undead above the Grand Master level were destroyed, the hell magic crystals could be seen with the naked eye. They would appear in an instant and then disappear, so fast that it was impossible to harvest them. And after the Grand Master level Shura was destroyed, the hell magic crystals that condensed could exist for less than 0.1 seconds. As for the undead above the half-saint level that were killed in the end, after being destroyed by lightning, the hell magic crystals that appeared could last for less than half a second. And the Shura above the half-saint level could stay in the air for more than half a second. So, in this feast, although most of the undead's energy essence was wasted, but there was still a very, very rich harvest. But how much harvest? He didn't know, and had no way of knowing. Because it was stored in the energy jade box, it couldn't be opened. As soon as it was opened, it would completely dissipate. As for Yang Dingtian, he wore the magic spirit mist cloak and quickly flashed to harvest those hell mana crystals. He used his soul ring to harvest these hell magic crystals. Everything happened too quickly. From the beginning to the end, it took less than half a second. In short, the number of energy jade boxes that were handed over to Yang Dingtian was more than 1,000. In other words, they had captured at least 1,000 hell magic crystals. And Yang Dingtian's harvest was the only clear one. Because he had the Nether Ghost Emperor in his soul ring. He had captured a total of 19 half-saint hell magic crystals and 9 saint hell magic crystals. Of course, his gains were not the greatest. The ones who benefited the most were the Mermaid Queen Violets and Neru, the 2 saint-level experts. They were also wearing the demonic spirit mist cloak. All hell magic crystals had to be refined by the Nether Ghost Emperor before they could be used by humans. Therefore, according to the agreement, he had to give 1/3 of the hell magic crystals that he refined. In other words, Yang Dingtian had to give him 6 half-saint hell magic crystals and 3 saint hell magic crystals. Unfortunately, the Nether Ghost Emperor's current cultivation was not enough to refine the saint hell magic crystals. He couldn't even swallow them directly. Therefore, in the end, he refined the energy essences. In total, there were 6 level 15, 3 level 16, 3 level 17, and 1 level 18. Of course, this was only a small part of the harvest. Although there weren't many master level, great master level, and infinite great master level hell magic crystals. But the energy essences of half-saint level and above had a fixed location and a clear target. Moreover, they were destroyed one after the other, and not at the same time. Therefore, most of the most precious hell magic crystals should be in his hands. Next, the more troublesome part was how to take these hell magic crystals out of the energy jade boxes and give them to the Nether Ghost Emperor to refine. Of course, there were 2 ways. The first way was to go to the Ghost Nether region. However, that would be no different from courting death. Once the Ghost Emperor went and found out about the crushing defeat here, he would probably be heartbroken and hate Yang Dingtian to the bone. If Yang Dingtian dared to enter the Ghost Nether region, he would definitely use all means to kill Yang Dingtian. Although more than half of the Saint level, half-Saint level undead and Shura level undead had died in this battle. But in the Underworld Empire, there were still half-Saint level undead and Shura level undead and Shura level undead. Of course, if the speed of entering and leaving was very, very fast, perhaps it would be a different story. What he was afraid of was that the Nether Ghost Emperor had set a huge trap in the Underworld Empire, and was waiting for Yang Dingtian. This way, not only would he capture Yang Dingtian, but he would also be able to snatch back the precious hell magic crystals. The second way was, of course, to borrow the Evil Ways Underworld Ghost City. It was still very dangerous there, but it should be much better than the Underworld Empire. After Yang Dingtian collected all the energy jade boxes, the few of them immediately held an emergency meeting in the air. Should they go to the Underworld Ghost City and take out the hell magic crystals and transfer them into the soul ring for the Nether Ghost Emperor to refine? Neru and the Mermaid Queen expressed that there was no need for discussion and that they should immediately go to the Underworld Ghost City. Because now was the Evil Way's most chaotic time, the Devil Queen must have suffered a huge blow. When she came back to her senses, she would definitely close the Underworld Ghost City. There was no time to lose. Yang Dingtian collected all the energy jade boxes at the first moment. Then, he, Neru, and the Mermaid Queen Violets wore the demonic spirit mist cloak and flew to the Underworld Ghost City as fast as they could. Thus, a funny thing happened. The Devil Queen and Prince Li Ming led all the evil spirit warriors back to Sky Demon City as fast as they could. Yang Dingtian and the other 2 wore the demonic spirit mist cloak and flew to Sky Demon City as fast as they could. The Mermaid Queen Violets, for some reason, was carrying a huge destructive bomb. Fortunately, she was a saint-rank powerhouse. Carrying such a huge destructive bomb, her flying speed was definitely not fast. In the end, a funny thing happened. Yang Dingtian and the other 2 arrived at Sky Demon City earlier than the Devil Queen and the others. Yang Dingtian did not dare to enter the Empire of Darkness. But the underworld ghost city was not a problem at all. Yang Dingtian and the other two arrived above the underworld ghost city and saw the huge pyramid at first glance. That thing was the undead's teleportation array. "Let's blow up this pyramid later," the Mermaid Queen Violet said. So, this was what she was planning. However, this was indeed the best opportunity because the rear of the evil ways was completely empty. He really did not know what the Devil Queen was thinking. She did not even leave behind a single saint-rank powerhouse in such an important rear. Only a group of dark dragons, dark evil dragons, and destructive earth dragons were left behind. What was the use of that? Yang Dingtian and the other two immediately went into the underworld ghost city. They were about to open the energy storage and transfer the hell magic crystal inside into the soul ring. However, they were stopped by the netherworld ghost emperor. "Stop!" Yang Dingtian was shocked. "Why?" the netherworld ghost emperor said. "This underworld ghost city is greatly lacking in netherworld energy. Once the hell magic crystal is taken out, it will instantly turn into ashes." Yang Dingtian asked. "This is already the underworld ghost city. Why is there still insufficient netherworld energy?" the netherworld ghost emperor said. "Will your crystal power unit be running all day long?" With this, Yang Dingtian understood. This underworld ghost city had been modified by Shura. However, most of its netherworld energy was supplied by the Empire of Darkness's Skirich imperial capital. The modified underworld ghost city was equivalent to an electrical circuit that could transmit the netherworld energy converted by the Empire of Darkness to every corner of the ghost city. This did not mean that Shura could create a real underworld ghost city. If that was the case, Yang Dingtian did not understand. If the Devil Queen wanted to invade the central continent, how would she build the ghost city in the central continent? Could she dig a huge tunnel from the bottom of the sea and transmit the Empire of Darkness's energy to the central continent? In order to provide the netherworld energy for the underworld ghost city, the Skirich imperial capital had to desperately extract energy from the mainland. Therefore, when the undead were not around, even when the sky was dark, the Skirich imperial capital would cut off the supply of netherworld energy to the underworld ghost city. If there was no netherworld energy in the underworld ghost city, wouldn't they have come for nothing? "We didn't come for nothing. At least we can blow up this pyramid. This way, the undead in Shura will never be able to enter the human countries again," the Mermaid Queen Violet said. Then, she immediately took action. She drilled a big hole in the ground and buried the huge destructive bomb under the pyramid's energy array. At this time, the evil warriors had already flown back. Violet said, "Should we wait? Will the Devil Queen activate the netherworld energy in the underworld ghost city?" Yang Dingtian shook his head and said, "That's impossible. Now that the undead in Shura's army have been wiped out, there's no need to waste energy activating the netherworld energy. Let's go." Violets nodded and directly activated the crystal ignition device of the destructive bomb. Then, the three of them retreated from the underworld ghost city as fast as they could. As for the huge amount of hell magic crystals, they would have to think of another way. At this time, the Devil Queen handed over the authority of the evil ways to Princely Ming. Princely Ming looked in the direction of Cloud Sky City and said word by word, "Yang Dingtian, the next battle is between you and me." Then, he turned to look at the pyramid below and said slowly, "Next, there will be more than 10 saint-level undead and dozens of half-saint-level undead entering the human countries. Every night, they will carry out fatal assassinations on the upper echelons of your Council of Light. From now on, Yang Dingtian, your Council of Light will never have a day of peace. Every day, one of your trusted subordinates will die." Before he could finish his sentence, a voice rang out. Boom! Suddenly, there was an earth-shattering explosion. Then, the huge pyramid's energy array was instantly torn apart. Chapter 1022. Princely Ming had only just finished speaking. There was an earth-shattering sound as the gigantic energy pyramid seemed to be torn apart from the middle by an incomparably powerful hand. Then, countless huge energy crystals flew into the sky. The entire energy pyramid was instantly torn apart and completely destroyed. All the evil spirit warriors present were instantly stunned. As for Prince Li Ming, he was completely shocked. In this world, there was nothing more humiliating than this moment. He had finally taken over the authority of the Empire of Darkness, and was in high spirits to fight a big battle with Yang Dingtian. Moreover, his strategy would definitely work. Letting the saint-level undead and Shura assassinate the higher-ups of the Council of Light in the middle of the night was simply unsolvable. In the end, just as he said that, the energy pyramid was completely destroyed. In order to create these two energy pyramids, the Demon City's merchant palace had already exhausted everything. In order to maximize the power of the energy pyramid, the evil ways had taken out all the relevant crystals. The energy pyramid was built as big as it could be. Once it was blown up, it meant that the undead's path to enter the human kingdom was completely cut off. Almost at the same moment that the pyramid was blown up, a black shadow suddenly shot out of the ruins like lightning. It was Wolingzi, who had already broken through to the saint level. Immediately, Prince Li Ming was filled with vigilance. However, the first thing the Infernal Queen did was to lock the spirit vulture tightly. Prince Li Ming's gaze shifted away from Wolingzi and immediately thought that Yang Dingtian must have brought a destructive bomb to blow up the energy pyramid. Almost instinctively, Prince Li Ming wanted to order all the evil spirit warriors to capture the Council of Light's sneak attack. But soon, he gave up on this naive idea. Yang Dingtian had the Naga royalty sword soul and two saint-level powerhouses by his side at all times. It was a fool's dream to capture him. He looked down at the ruins of the pyramid that had been blown up, and his heart ached. He resisted the urge to vomit blood and ordered, "Return to the Empire of Darkness!" Immediately, all the evil spirit warriors followed the wand dejectedly and entered the Empire of Darkness. The morale of the entire evil spirit army was extremely low. Wolingzi glanced at his daughter and frowned slightly, but he did not do or say anything in the end. After entering the Empire of Darkness, Prince Li Ming was relieved of Wolingzi, and the Queen Devil Queen no longer locked on to the vulture all the time. In the Skirich imperial capital of the Empire of Darkness, the Queen Devil Queen and Prince Li Ming controlled the life and death of almost everyone, including the saint-level powerhouse Wolingzi. Prince Li Ming even had the impulse to imprison Wolingzi in the energy prison and take away his second-grade evil spirit since he was completely useless now. In this way, his energy reserve and Xian meridians would not be able to support his saint-level cultivation and would be turned into ashes. But soon, he gave up on this plan because there was no need. Because in the Empire of Darkness, even the saint-level Wolingzi would not be a threat. Instead, he could take the opportunity to win people's hearts and show that he was open and aboveboard. More importantly, what should he do next? There were two methods. The first method was to take the initiative to attack. The second method was to hide in the Empire of Darkness and wait for the return of the Demon King Wentian. Logically, the second method should be to hide in the Empire of Darkness and do nothing. Because when the return of the Demon King Wentian, all the problems would be solved. But Prince Li Ming would not allow himself to be so cowardly. He had just obtained the power of the Empire of Darkness, but in the end, he did nothing and could only hide in the Empire of Darkness. Wouldn't that make him seem very incompetent? At this moment, he suddenly understood why the Queen Devil Queen had to launch the second Doomsday battle. Because sometimes, a leader's face was more important than anything else. If Prince Li Ming did nothing, it would be a devastating blow to his prestige and the morale of the evil ways. He could not stay still, he had to counterattack. Then, how should he counterattack? The real counterattack was to seize the gate of the human kingdom from Yang Dingtian's hands and directly connect the Little Western Paradise to the human kingdom. This way, the saint-level experts, half-level experts, and infinite Grand Masters of the Little Western Paradise would be able to continuously enter the human kingdom. In this way, the Radiant Parliament went from having the upper hand to being in a precarious situation. But unfortunately, the current power of the evil ways was much weaker than the Council of Light in terms of martial arts. Relying on martial arts alone was not enough to take back the gate of the human kingdom. Then, he had to use other methods. Perhaps it was a diversion, or perhaps he could use a scheme, or perhaps he could use a hostage to force Yang Dingtian to give up the gate of the human kingdom. Using a hostage to force Yang Dingtian to compromise was the only thought in Prince Li Ming's mind. And the best hostage was Yang Dingtian's family. Then, was it possible to rob and kidnap Yang Dingtian's family? Was it possible? Yang Dingtian and the other two returned to Cloud Sky City. The entire Cloud Sky City once again held a small banquet. At this time, the victory of the Second Apocalyptic War had already spread in all directions. 2 times, 2 world extermination wars, both were glorious victories. Evil ways were all wiped out in an instant. This should be enough to eliminate the fear of evil ways in the human kingdom. After the small celebration banquet, they entered an emergency meeting. The topic of the meeting was, what should the Council of Light do next? In the Second Apocalyptic War, the evil ways were defeated. What will they do next? How will they take revenge? Yang Dingtian asked. The Mermaid Queen Violet said, when the undead army was wiped out, the Queen Devil Queen directly vomited blood. So, she is very likely to be disappointed in herself, and perhaps she will hand over the power of the evil ways. When this was said, Yang Dingtian couldn't help but nod. Among those present, besides the Mermaid Queen, Yang Dingtian understood the Queen Devil Queen better. Violet said that the Devil Queen would hand over the power, and this was very likely. Suddenly Yang Dingtian said, if the Devil Queen gives up the power, will it be Mu Dan, Dishi Bian, or Prince Li Ming? It can only be Prince Li Ming. Dongfang Minli said. Dishi Bian and Bing Ling have their wills suppressed by the evil spirits, so they can't be the first leaders. Suddenly Yang Dingtian's heart trembled. If Prince Li Ming took the power, it would be troublesome. This person was extremely cunning and vicious. Although the Queen Devil Queen was vicious and merciless, she didn't even blink when she said that she would massacre a city. However, she was very direct. The first time she massacred a city, the second time she would do the same. She wanted to destroy hundreds of millions of human countries, and win the war of extinction. In short, the Queen Devil Queen was very particular about her face. But Prince Li Ming was different. This person did things by hook or by crook. Qin Wanchou said, if I were Prince Li Ming, the first thing I would do would be revenge, the most vicious revenge. Let Sect Master Yang Dingtian feel the pain of his bones. Dongfang Minli said. He might send saint-level powerhouses to make a move against Sect Master's family. Is the Netherworld Sea safe enough? The ancient giant beast shouldn't be able to resist 2 saint-level powerhouses. The Queen Devil Queen had a bottom line when doing things, and basically wouldn't touch Yang Dingtian's family. But at this time, Prince Li Ming wouldn't have this bottom line. Yang Dingtian said, the Netherworld Sea should be safe enough. Yan Yan, Master's wife, and the children are staying in Wu Yu's palace. A very powerful energy array has been set up, and even saint-level powerhouses can't enter. Immediately after, Yang Dingtian continued, of course, if there is a need, I can send my family to Mount Buzhou. Qin Wanchou said, if he can't find a chance to make a move on Sect Master's family, then he might make a move on the higher-ups of the Council of Light. Although these hostages aren't as important as Sect Master's family, Sect Master is kind and takes pity on them. So, even if the higher-ups of the Council of Light are captured or killed, it will be a huge blow to Sect Master. This was what Yang Dingtian was most afraid of. Previously, the evil ways wouldn't touch the higher-ups of the Council of Light, and Yang Dingtian wouldn't capture the evil warriors. It was a tacit understanding between both sides. But obviously this tacit understanding had been completely shattered. And if Prince Li Ming was really in charge, he would be completely unscrupulous. To completely avoid this, of course, it was possible to gather all the higher-ups of the Council of Light in Cloud Sky City. Under the protection of 2 saint-level powerhouses, a large number of half-saints, and a huge lightning energy shield, it seemed to be absolutely safe. But the Council of Light had a lot of things to do every day. The Council of Light's army, most of its secret bases, and manufacturing factories couldn't do without the management of the Council of Light's higher-ups. Evil ways could mostly hide in the safety of the Empire of Darkness, and only send out saint-level and half-saint powerhouses to wreak havoc in the human countries. Evil ways didn't need to govern any place, and they didn't need to control any army. But the Council of Light had to manage the entire human countries and had a huge responsibility. Moreover, it was after the war. Whether it was the reconstruction work or the work of the army, they were all extremely busy. Making all the higher-ups of the Council of Light hide because they were afraid of death? This couldn't be done. Yang Dingtian couldn't do it, and the Council of Light couldn't do it either. If they were so afraid of death, then what right did the Council of Light have to rule this world? Therefore, the problem was almost unsolvable. Evil ways sent out saint-level and half-saint powerhouses to capture and kill the higher-ups of the Council of Light. There was simply no way to stop them. For a moment, the entire Council of Light's higher-ups fell into silence. At this time, in the Skirich imperial capital of the Empire of Darkness, the Devil Queen officially handed over the temporary highest authority of the Temple of Annihilation to Prince Li Ming in front of all the evil spirit warriors. Before the Demon King Wentian returned, Prince Li Ming had the final say in the entire evil ways. Prince Li Ming didn't beat around the bush. He directly said, "From now on, our battle with Yang Dingtian of the Council of Light will enter a new stage." Everyone lowered their heads. Prince Li Ming continued, "Next, we have two goals. The first is to take revenge on the Council of Light, and deal a fatal blow to Yang Dingtian. The second goal is to open the door to the human countries and let the experts of Little Western Paradise enter the human countries continuously. This way, our martial forces will instantly crush the Council of Light." Everyone was still depressed. Now, it seemed that the strength of the evil spirit warriors was far behind Yang Dingtian's martial strength. It was already impossible to rely on martial strength to seize the door to the human countries. Prince Li Ming said, "In order to achieve these two goals, I announce that Operation Viper has begun." Operation Viper? Immediately, everyone looked at Prince Li Ming. Prince Li Ming said, "Viper has two meanings. One is to hide, and the other is to launch sneak attacks. Next, most of the evil spirit warriors will stay in the Empire of Darkness to ensure their safety. We will only send experts of half-sage level and above to leave the Empire of Darkness and launch sneak attacks on the Council of Light." Prince Li Ming's gaze swept across everyone. "What do you mean by sneak attacks?" "It means that we won't let any martial venerable level or above martial artists of the Council of Light go. As long as we see them, kill half of them and capture the other half. No matter how powerful Yang Dingtian is, it's impossible for him to protect all the experts of martial venerable level and above. If he does so, the Council of Light will collapse instantly, and the human countries will collapse instantly. Kill or capture any expert of martial venerable level or above." This plan was very simple, but it was extremely poisonous and completely impossible to defend against. In fact, Yang Dingtian wouldn't even be able to take revenge. This was because most of the evil spirit warriors were in the Darkness Empire's Skirich imperial capital. Of course, some of the evil spirit warriors had fallen into Yang Dingtian's hands. However, Prince Li Ming didn't care about the lives of these people. On the other hand, Yang Dingtian cared about the lives of the Council of Light's martial artists. Despicable was the master of despicable people. Justice was sometimes the binding stone of righteous people. Prince Li Ming said, "As long as we kill a few hundred and capture a few hundred high-ranking members of the Council of Light, we will be able to do it. If Yang Dingtian doesn't compromise, he can only collapse. I announce that all evil spirit warriors of half-sage level and above will participate in Operation Viper, including Her Majesty Devil Queen." "Okay," the Devil Queen said. The evil spirit warriors present instinctively felt a chill down their spines. Although Prince Li Ming's strategy didn't look good, it was vicious enough and would definitely succeed. If he became the leader of the evil ways, it would be a nightmare for the Council of Light and Yang Dingtian. After the pyramid's energy array was destroyed, Prince Li Ming suffered a huge blow, but he quickly recovered. This was his first real confrontation with Yang Dingtian. He could only win and not lose. Although the pyramid's energy array was destroyed, many half-sage and half-sage undead Shura couldn't enter the human countries. However, the battle still had to go on. Moreover, Princely Ming realized that without the half-sage or saint undead Shura, although it would greatly reduce his plan, he could still carry it out and bring Yang Dingtian bone-piercing pain. Yang Dingtian's figure appeared in Princely Ming's mind. The failure of these two great wars not only caused a fatal blow to the Devil Queen, but also to Princely Ming. One had to know that in front of Princely Ming, Yang Dingtian was just an ant that could be trampled to death with one foot. Even after Yang Dingtian broke through to half-sage and unified the human countries, Princely Ming didn't take him seriously. When he went to Cloud Sky City to deliver the invitation, he still seemed to be full of contempt. However, in these two great wars, the first time, Yang Dingtian returned as the king, and the Naga royalty sword spirit appeared, causing the Legion of Doom to be completely wiped out. The second time, Yang Dingtian completely mastered the power of lightning and destroyed the undead army. In an instant, Yang Dingtian was not only on equal footing with him. He was even starting to look down on Prince Li Ming. This was something that Li Ming couldn't tolerate at all. A person who used to be an ant was starting to look down on him. Yang Dingtian, I'm about to make a move. How are you going to deal with it? I know that you must have guessed what I'm going to do, but you can't stop it at all. Prince Li Ming said coldly in his heart. As long as I make a move, you'll still be that pitiful worm in the yin-yang mirror a few years ago. There's nothing you can do. After pondering for a long time, the higher-ups of the Council of Light couldn't come up with any way to stop the revenge of the evil ways. Of course, many people knew that a large number of evil spirit warriors had become captives of the Council of Light. But if Prince Li Ming really became the leader of the evil ways, then these captives would be useless. Prince Li Ming didn't even seem to care about Dongli's life and death. Why would he care about these Tom, Dick, and Harry? Qin Wanchou suddenly said. Since you're a member of the Council of Light, you have to be mentally prepared for any encounter. There will be sacrifices in any struggle. Sacrifices are normal. His meaning was very clear. Since they couldn't stop it, then they wouldn't stop it and bear these losses. If someone in the Council of Light had to die, then there was nothing they could do. The Mermaid Queen Violet said, Use Dongli as a hostage and threaten the evil ways to not act rashly. Otherwise, throw the thing into the dark matter and perish together. In this way, the void fire on his body will be completely destroyed. Without a doubt, the void fire on Dongli's body was a loss that the evil ways couldn't bear. Therefore, Dongli was a valuable hostage, and a very valuable one at that. Yang Dingtian shook his head and said, Dongli as a hostage corresponds to Vulture. If we completely destroy Dongli, then something terrible will happen to Vulture. That's right, it was like this. The Mermaid Queen immediately lowered her head. Before Vulture was rescued, Dongli couldn't be touched. If they touched Dongli, Li Ming would definitely touch Vulture. He wouldn't kill her, but Vulture was a woman. She had a lot of experiences that might be even more painful than death. This wouldn't do, that wouldn't do. Could it be that there was nothing they could do while evil ways viciously retaliated? Yang Dingtian closed his eyes for a long time, then opened them and said, There's only one way, but I don't know if it can be done. If it can be done, then the revenge of evil ways will disappear in an instant. What's the way? Violets asked. Attack the Empire of Darkness and attack the headquarters of evil ways. Yang Dingtian. In this way, evil ways can only desperately protect the Empire of Darkness and have no spare energy to do anything else. That's right, this was extremely correct strategically. Whether it was on the battlefield or in a struggle, the most taboo thing was to follow someone else's baton. Passively defending was the worst strategy. And sometimes it was impossible to defend at all. Therefore, there was a saying in strategy, you fight your own, I fight mine. In short, one must never passively dance to the footsteps of others. One must seize the initiative. However, how difficult was it to attack the Empire of Darkness? The Mermaid Queen Violet said, It's not like you haven't entered the Empire of Darkness. Even Naga could only desperately escape inside, let alone us. Even if a saint-level powerhouse enters, they will only turn into ashes. The Empire of Darkness itself is an incomparably huge energy array. Attacking the Empire of Darkness is completely a one-way trip. The Mermaid Queen Violets directly rejected this plan. Yang Dingtian. When I said to attack the Empire of Darkness, I didn't mean to enter the Empire of Darkness. All the energy of the Empire of Darkness comes from a few continents. Whether it's the Skirich Imperial Capital or the Dark Castle, they are all connected by countless energy channels. And these energy channels are directly connected to the Yin-Yang Mirror, the Demon Realm, the world of ice and snow, and other continents. If we cut off these energy channels, the Empire of Darkness will completely lose its energy. At that time, we can directly attack the Empire of Darkness. As soon as Yang Dingtian's voice fell, he immediately received many admiring gazes. This was Yang Dingtian. Usually, he wasn't outstanding in terms of strategy. However, at critical moments, his strategy and vision would be higher than everyone else's. If this plan could succeed, it wouldn't be as simple as just stopping the revenge of the evil ways. Instead, it would be an even more glorious victory on the basis of two huge victories. Since there were no other ideas, Yang Dingtian immediately made a decision and decided to attack the Empire of Darkness himself. At night, Yang Dingtian seized the time to devour the energy essence and try his best to make a big breakthrough in his cultivation. Chapter 1023. Queen Devil Queen said, Yang Dingtian has mastered the power of lightning. Not only is it his own mysterious fire, but it also fills the sky with lightning. The entire Cloud Sky City has become a death zone shrouded in the power of lightning. Ghost Emperor Wentian said, That's impossible. I know that Yang Dingtian and I came from the same plane. So I have a different understanding of the power of lightning. I can even make a simpler generator. But the power of these generators is very small. It's not enough to pose a threat to the powerful undead army. And most importantly, any power of lightning needs a conductor. So it's impossible to cause a large amount of damage to the undead army. Queen Devil Queen said, The lightning in Cloud Sky City has thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of bolts. They cover every inch of the sky above Cloud Sky City, spanning hundreds of miles. Within a few hundred miles of Cloud Sky City, everything has become a death zone for the power of lightning. Ghost Emperor Wentian said in shock. No wires? Queen Devil Queen said. No! That's impossible, that's impossible. Ghost Emperor Wentian said. It's impossible for humans to create lightning. It's even more impossible to wirelessly discharge electricity. That's impossible, that's impossible. Sigh. Speaking up to this point, he really had to sigh. Who asked Wentian to be one of the first university students after the Cultural Revolution? And he was a liberal arts student. In those 10 years, most people abandoned their studies. So even though he was a university student, he had some understanding of electricity. He even had some understanding of the primitive engine. But Tesla coils were common knowledge in the 21st century. He really didn't know about them. So, he was very confident that his undead energy was invincible. In fact, he didn't have a clear understanding of the power of lightning. Because, in his era, the entire country didn't have much electricity. When he was in the countryside, he could only use candles and kerosene lamps. And even if there were electric lights in the city, they were red. Because the power was not enough, the electric lights were obviously not bright enough. So, in his mind, electricity was basically the same as electric lights. He didn't think that electricity had any great power. In the hearts of this generation, the greatest power was represented by the atomic bomb and the hydrogen bomb. Now, it was said that Yang Dingtian had created such a huge wireless lightning in the chaos world. Ghost Emperor Wentian couldn't help but feel deeply defeated. This means that you did better than me on Earth, and you know more than me. However, these thoughts were quickly thrown to the back of his mind. Next, An extremely serious matter was placed in front of him. 100 million undead had been completely wiped out. More than half of his energy assets had disappeared. Instantly, his heart ached so much that it almost twitched. Looking at his beloved woman in front of him, he couldn't help but roar angrily. You prodigal girl, this is more than half of my energy savings. You are really a bastard. The Devil Queen, who was scolded, trembled, and her face became even paler. Then she clenched her teeth and said, I will definitely find a way to return this energy to you. Return it? Why are you returning it? Dozens of saint level, hundreds of saint level, countless undead. Even if you kill all the human countries, it won't be enough. Ghost Emperor Wentian said, trembling. Suddenly, the Devil Queen's face became even more unsightly. Ghost Emperor Wentian closed his eyes in pain. After a while, he gradually calmed down. He had always been an extremely intelligent person. Since things had already happened, there was no point in blaming her. Okay, I don't blame you, Ghost Emperor Wentian said. I shouldn't have scolded you like this. This is my fault. I apologize. Devil Queen's beautiful face twitched again. Ghost Emperor Wentian said, Tiaoling, I don't know what the person walking on the dark throne is thinking. But you are not suitable to lead the Temple of Annihilation. Leave everything to Li Ming. He is Yang Dingtian's fatal opponent. Devil Queen said with a self-deprecating smile. I have already left it to him. Ghost Emperor Wentian said. Then what does he plan to do? Devil Queen said. He formulated the Viper Plan, which is to kill and capture all the higher-ups of the Council of Light. Force Yang Dingtian to give up the gate to the human countries, and then send a large number of experts from Little Western Paradise to enter the human countries. The final goal is to kill most of the people of the human countries, kill all the higher-ups of the Council of Light, and completely destroy Yang Dingtian's confidence and will. Using the chastity of Yang Dingtian's wife and the lives of his children, force Yang Dingtian to voluntarily give up his body for you to take over, and give up the greater space technique. In the end, you will take over Yang Dingtian's body, combine with Naga, and share Naga's demigod body. Then, all the Wenshins of the plains will combine into one and break through to the divine level. Ghost Emperor Wentian was silent for a moment, then said, Although it is very shameless, it is already a life-and-death struggle with Yang Dingtian. This strategy is correct. You and Dishi Bian go together, and carry out Li Ming's Viper Plan. Kill all the higher-ups of the Council of Light that you can see, and give Yang Dingtian a deep and painful revenge. Yes. Devil Queen said. Ghost Emperor Wentian said. What about the person on the dark throne? Devil Queen said. He went to find the Naga Duga Shuang. In her words, Devil Queen was even a little resentful. If the Demon King Wentian was here, everything would not be so passive. The Demon King Wentian's martial strength could completely suppress all the martial strength of the Light One. He could easily kill anyone and capture anyone. Ghost Emperor Wentian said. His method is correct. If Yang Dingtian finds the Naga Duga Shuang first, then we will lose all hope. Yang Dingtian, who shares the demigod talent, is truly invincible. Then Ghost Emperor Wentian said. Go together with Dishi Bian. It is best to deal with Yang Dingtian before that person on the dark throne returns. After a moment, the Devil Queen and Dishi Bian, two saint-level experts, flew together towards the Empire of Darkness. At this moment, in Cloud Sky City. I'm really busy. Must you lock me up in Cloud Sky City? Yunjunu could not help but ask, even though she was already prepared to sacrifice herself. However, Yunjunu, Song Lihua, and the others were still brought back to Cloud Sky City. Because they were women. If they fell into Li Ming's hands, the consequences would be worse than death. It's the same if you work in Cloud Sky City, Yang Dingtian said. Then, Yang Dingtian handed Cloud Sky City over to the two saint-level experts, Neru and the Mermaid Queen Violets. Then, he flew directly to the Yin-Yang Mirror, the Demon Realm, and the world of ice and snow to find the energy channels between the continents and the Empire of Darkness. Once he found it, he could deal a fatal blow to the Empire of Darkness and the evil ways. At this moment, in the ruins of the Sea Serpent Empire's demon capital, the Queen of the Sea Heart welcomed her happiest and most exciting time. She finally found the ruins of the ancient Sea Serpent Empire. This meant that she had taken the most crucial step on her path to becoming stronger. In the following time, she wandered around the ruins of the demon capital. Suddenly, she felt a surge of emotions, especially when she saw countless sea serpents who had all turned into stone. Hundreds of thousands, millions, or even more. These were the incomparably powerful ancient sea serpents. Their martial cultivation was not something that the warriors of this era could compare to. If she could revive everything here, she could become the ruler of this underwater empire. That would mean the rebirth of the Sea Serpent Empire. The destruction of the Serpent Empire was not even worth mentioning. She continued to go deeper into the ruins of the Sea Serpent Empire. Everything in this empire was too magnificent and too powerful. This kind of magnificence was not something that the Serpent Empire could compare to. Although the Serpent Empire of the Dongli grassland had a pyramid that was large enough, and the city walls were tens of thousands of miles long, however, it still showed a sense of smallness. In the end, Queen Hai-Xian led the last of the serpent tribe to the palace of the Sea Serpent Empire. This mountain-like palace made Hai-Xian's body tremble. This was a real empire. This was the empire that should belong to her. The rest of the serpent tribe were also particularly excited. Compared to the Dongli grassland, this might be their home. Queen Hai-Xian continued to go deeper, deeper, deeper. Finally, she came to the largest hall. In this hall that was tens of thousands of meters long, she saw the Sea Serpent Queen in the middle at first glance. In an instant, Hai-Xian's delicate body trembled violently. This Queen of the Sea Serpent Empire looked very, very much like her. When Queen Poisa saw the Queen of the Sea Serpent Empire for the first time, she felt that part of her was very similar to her, and the other part was very similar to Hai-Xian. And Hai-Xian's first impression was that she looked like her, because she only saw the part of the Sea Serpent Empire that looked like her. It was only after a long time that she noticed that the Queen of the Sea Serpent Empire was also partly similar to Venomous Xiao. What did this mean? It meant that she and Poisa were real sisters. Regarding this point, Hai-Xian only trembled slightly and was immediately thrown away. The only remaining thought was that she was the descendant of the Sea Serpent Empire Queen. Then she was the master of this ancient Sea Serpent Empire. She was the master of this empire. This thought made her heart tremble. Therefore, she immediately set a grand goal. She wanted to restore all the sea serpents who had turned into stone here. Of course, this Sea Serpent Empire Queen in front of her was an exception. Although she was her mother, the Sea Serpent Empire could only have one master. As for how to resurrect? She had no idea at all. However, these sea serpents were all killed by Queen Medusa. She was the one who petrified all the sea serpents. Then, she might have a way to resurrect all the petrified sea serpents. How could she find Queen Medusa? In the past 200 years, the only person who had interacted with Queen Medusa was the demon king Wentian. She was intoxicated by her ambition for a long time. Then, Queen Hai-Xian discovered the crystal ball in the hands of the Sea Serpent Empire Queen. This huge crystal ball was flowing with light, as if it contained a mysterious universe. It must have an incomparably powerful force. If she devoured this crystal ball, would she become very powerful? This was Queen Seaheart's first thought, and it was also her only thought. Poisa's first reaction when she saw the crystal ball was surprise and curiosity. Then, she immediately reached out to touch it. And Queen Hai-Xian's first reaction was to devour it and possess it. Then, Queen Hai-Xian carefully observed the crystal ball, thinking about how to devour it. If I'm not wrong, this crystal ball is definitely related to the Naga Empire. Suddenly, a gloomy and mechanical voice sounded in the hall. Who is it? Queen Hai-Xian said coldly. Whoosh! A huge figure suddenly appeared in the hall. Instantly, all the serpents in the hall, including Queen Hai-Xian, felt suffocated. It was as if a huge mountain was pressing down on them. The person who came was, of course, the Demon King Wentian. The Demon King Wentian, who was wearing the Chaos Emperor armor, appeared. He first searched the entire world aimlessly, but he couldn't find the Naga Dugashui. Finally, he came to the Devil's Sea and found Queen Hai Xian, who was trudging painstakingly. Queen Hai Xian was also a candidate for the next generation of Naga. Therefore, she had an intuition about the psychology of the Naga. Therefore, the Demon King Wentian followed her secretly and finally came here. When he first saw this crystal ball, the Demon King Wentian instinctively thought that this crystal ball was related to the Naga Empire. Even if he followed this crystal ball, he would be able to find the Naga Dugashui, because he was the one who knew the most about the Naga Empire. Chapter 1024. Especially the frozen scene in the hall. The Queen of the Sea Serpent Empire was about to destroy the crystal ball, and the expression on her face was particularly horrified. Moreover, whether it was the Queen of the Sea Serpent Empire or the ministers present, all of them were looking in the same direction, revealing a horrified expression. What they saw was obviously Queen Medusa. The Queen of the Sea Serpent Empire wanted to destroy the crystal ball to prevent the arrival of Queen Medusa and save the Sea Serpent Empire. But obviously, she didn't make it in time. All of this was something that Demon King Wentian could guess with a single glance. He knew that whether it was the Mermaid Empire, the Sea Serpent Empire, or the Naga Empire, there was an energy channel between them. The Naga Empire used this energy channel to rule the Sea Serpent Empire and the Mermaid Empire. Seeing the Demon King Wentian, Queen Hai Xian's expression changed greatly. Then she thought of her deal and immediately floated to the ground, then knelt on one knee and said, "Hai Xian greets your Majesty, Demon King." The Demon King Wentian glanced at Hai Xian, then said, "You are an ambitious woman, I know what you are thinking." Hai Xian kowtowed and said, "Nothing can be hidden from your Majesty, Demon King." The Demon King Wentian said, "We can make a deal. You help me go to the ruins of the Naga Empire, and I help you ask Queen Medusa about the method to revive the Sea Serpent Empire." Hai Xian's expression changed again. The Demon King Wentian can read minds. Why can he know what I am thinking? Immediately, her expression became even more respectful as she kowtowed and said, "Everything will be done according to His Majesty the Demon King's will. However, according to Yang Dingtian, the ruins of the old Naga Empire should have been completely destroyed and turned into the Umbral Realm. Perhaps this is the third Umbral Realm that he has been to." "No," Demon King Wentian said. "This point is obviously illogical. The formation of the second dark domain has been around for tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of years. The Naga Empire, on the other hand, had disappeared over 10,000 years ago when the Great Nirvana was destroyed. Therefore, it had not even formed the first dark domain. It was more like a little western paradise that was tearing space apart. Therefore, the ruins of the old Naga Empire must exist." Hai Xian said. "Then what should I do? Please advise me, Your Majesty the Demon King." The Demon King Wentian pointed at the crystal ball in the hands of the Sea Serpent Empire's queen and said, "The distance between the Sea Serpent Empire and the Naga Empire is very, very far. However, there is an energy channel between the two. Although Queen Medusa has never told me about this, I have learned about it from the Mermaid Empire. However, this energy channel has long been destroyed in the Mermaid Empire. As for the Sea Serpent Empire, if I am not wrong, the crystal ball in the hands of the Sea Serpent Empire's queen should be the channel that opens the channel to the ruins of the Naga Empire." Queen Hai Xian's delicate body trembled. She only wanted to take the crystal ball for herself. However, she never thought that she could enter the so-called ruins of the old Naga Empire through this crystal ball. "Your Majesty the Demon King, then may I ask how I can help you enter the ruins of the old Naga Empire?" Queen Hai Xian asked. The Demon King Wentian said, "Clearly, the Queen of the Sea Serpent Empire is your mother, right?" Queen Hai Xian nodded and said, "I think so." The Demon King Wentian said, "She has already turned into stone. Therefore, if there is anyone in this world who can open this crystal ball, then you, as her daughter, should be the most likely person to open it. Queen Hyaxian did not hesitate and said straightforwardly, "Then how should I try to open the crystal ball?" The Demon King Wentian said, "Just touch the crystal ball and input your own mystical chi and consciousness." Queen Hyaxian flew on to the palm of the Queen of the Sea Serpent Empire. Then she placed her hand on the crystal ball and input her mystical chi and consciousness. At this moment, her heart was filled with apprehension. Just as her hand touched the crystal ball, she immediately felt a mysterious and intimate energy surge out. It immediately merged with her divine sense energy. Hyaxian was delighted. The two energies interacted with each other in the crystal ball. It was as if the crystal ball's energy was trying to identify, test, and become restless. It was as if it wanted to open something. But in the end, everything became quiet. The energy in the crystal ball was completely silent. Clearly, Queen Hyaxian did not pass its test. Queen Hyaxian's heart turned cold. Then, she tried again and again. In the end, the crystal ball seemed to have fallen into a deep sleep. There was no reaction at all. The Demon King Wentian's eyebrows twitched. He was extremely disappointed. Then, he could not help but jump onto the palm of the Queen of the Sea Serpent Empire and input his energy and consciousness into the crystal ball. In the end, the entire crystal ball seemed to be dead silent. Hyaxian and the Demon King Wentian fell into silence. Queen Hyaxian's heart was filled with fear, because she was afraid that the Demon King Wentian would do something in his rage. After all, the current Queen Hyaxian was almost useless to the Demon King Wentian. After a long while, the Demon King Wentian said, "You have an older sister called Poisa, right? She's the one who gave birth to Naga Du Shuang'er?" "Yes," Queen Hyaxian said. The Demon King Wentian said, "She's one of Yang Dingtian's people?" "Yes," Queen Hyaxian said. The Demon King Wentian said, "She's also the descendant of the Sea Serpent Empire's queen, right?" "Yes," Queen Hyaxian said. The Demon King Wentian said, "In fact, she's the true successor of the Sea Serpent Empire's queen, right?" Queen Hyaxian felt very uncomfortable. She wanted to deny it against her will, but she still nodded and said, "Yes." "What about her?" the Demon King Wentian asked. Queen Hyaxian said, "I don't know. Maybe she's looking for Naga Duga Shuang." The Demon King Wentian fell into a terrifying silence. Since Hyaxian was able to find this place, Poison Sha would naturally be able to find this place as well. Most importantly, there were countless corpses in the Devil's Sea, corpses that had just died. These were all ancient giant beasts. Even a saint-level expert would not be able to kill so many ancient giant beasts. Then who could kill them? There was only one answer. The ancient overlord, demigod Naga. No matter how powerful the underwater giant beasts were, in front of Naga, they were like mice in front of a cat. They could only be slaughtered. If these ancient giant beasts were all killed by Naga Du Shuang'er, then she would definitely come here. At this time, there was no trace of Naga in the ruins of the Devil's capital. Where could she have gone? The answer was obvious. The ruins of the old Naga Empire. Thinking of this, the Demon King Wentian suddenly trembled. Once Naga Duga Shuang completed her transformation and returned to human form, she would also regain her consciousness. At that time, she would take the initiative to return to the human world to look for Yang Dingtian. At that time, the consequences would be unimaginable. One had to know that Nagas were extremely loyal to their lovers. Once she merged with Yang Dingtian, she would share her demigod body with Yang Dingtian. Then, everything would be over. The Demon King Wentian would not be able to do anything to Yang Dingtian. After a long silence, the Demon King Wentian sat down in the center of the hall and said, "Hyaxian, do whatever you want." Then, he stood guard in the hall. This was the only way for Naga to return to the human world. The Demon King Wentian did not know when Naga Duga Shuang would completely return to human form. At least now, Naga Durga Shuang was extremely powerful after slaughtering the dark colossal dragons in the Empire of Darkness. But in terms of cultivation, she might not be able to surpass the demon King Wentian, who was at the peak of the saint level. Therefore, he had to stay here and prevent Naga from returning. As for Yang Dingtian, he believed that Queen Devil Queen and Princely Ming were more than enough. After Queen Devil Queen and Dishi Bian returned to the Empire of Darkness, Princely Ming immediately started Operation Viper. The three of them left the Empire of Darkness and headed to the human world to hunt down the Council of Light. And the power of the Throne of Darkness was temporarily handed over to Princess Mu Dan. However, just before Princely Ming left, he suddenly decided to take Shura Vulture with him and leave Wolingzi in the Skirich imperial capital. Immediately, Vulture was filled with hatred, but there was nothing he could do. At the same time, Yang Dingtian had already flown into the poisonous sea behind Sky Demon City. He dived into the deepest part and discovered the huge whirlpool there. He suddenly rushed into the whirlpool. Immediately, his entire body shuttled through it quickly. At an incomparably fast speed, he shuttled through thousands of miles in a short period of time. Then, he was suddenly thrown out. He left the huge whirlpool tunnel and rushed under the yin-yang mirror. Under the yin-yang mirror was a void of nearly 1,000 miles. Below it was an extremely hot unknown substance. In the void in the middle, there were many thousand-mile mystic vein essences that connected the Earth's core to the yin-yang mirror continent. Soon enough, Yang Dingtian arrived in front of a magnificent mystic meridian essence. Countless huge amounts of energy were constantly shuttling back and forth between the tens of thousands of mystic vein essences, allowing the yin-yang mirror and the Earth's core to reach a new balance. Then, there was a question in front of Yang Dingtian. That is, were these mystic vein essences the energy passageways for the Empire of Darkness to devour several continents? Could cutting off these mystic vein essences deal a fatal blow to the Empire of Darkness? If these mystic vein essences were not the energy passageways for the Empire of Darkness, and Yang Dingtian pulled them all out, then the energy of the entire continent would be out of balance, and the consequences would be unimaginable. The right thing to do was to ignore the consequences first. At worst, the entire yin-yang mirror continent would be completely destroyed. He would pull out all these mystic vein essences and see if the energy of the Empire of Darkness would stop working. Yang Dingtian hesitated for a long time. Several times, he wanted to completely pull out these mystic vein essences. However, he did not do it several times. Evil ways were not his. He had to consider the consequences of his actions. Then, his mind began to recall the situation in the Empire of Darkness. Countless dark castles were connected to each other by energy tentacles, but these energy tentacles did not directly penetrate into the dark matter. It was as if all the dark castles were connected to the Skirich imperial capital. The Skirich imperial capital was the energy core of the entire Empire of Darkness. Therefore, it was not directly connected by energy tentacles to several continents to absorb energy. Instead, it was the Skirich imperial capital that directly devoured the energy of several continents to supply the entire Empire of Darkness. In other words, these mystic vein essences had no direct energy relationship with the Empire of Darkness. Destroying these mystic vein essences would affect the energy of the Empire of Darkness, but it would not be a fundamental effect. On the contrary, it would have a fatal effect on the yin-yang mirror and the northern continent. Yang Dingtian began to recall the Skirich imperial capital. Its height was completely limitless, and he could not see the top or the bottom. Therefore, if he wanted to destroy the energy source of the Empire of Darkness, he might have to cut off the connection between the Skirich imperial capital and several continents. Then, where was the Skirich imperial capital? Yang Dingtian sank into his memories, but he found it difficult to have a concrete impression. After all, he was a captive for most of the time in the Empire of Darkness, so he could not fully observe the entire Empire of Darkness territory. Then, Wu Yu or Violets should have a clearer understanding of the Empire of Darkness territory. He reckoned that the Mermaid Queen Zi Luolan wouldn't be able to do it either. He had only been there once, and she wasn't meticulous enough. Her understanding of the Darkness Empire's territory might not even be comparable to Yang Dingtian. Wu Yu's time in the Empire of Darkness was also very short. Then, who knew the territory of the Skirich imperial capital? Two figures suddenly appeared in Yang Dingtian's mind. One was Dongli, and the other was Gudu Wuhuan. These two were currently the two biggest evil spirit captives in Yang Dingtian's hands. Thus, Yang Dingtian did not do anything for the time being, and directly left the void below the yin-yang mirror. He went above the yin-yang mirror, then used the spatial technique to jump into the torn space. Then, he flew for tens of thousands of miles in the torn space, and arrived at the border between the torn space and the Empire of Darkness. Here, a dark corner of the dark matter extended into the Empire of Darkness. Yang Dingtian directly reached out and pulled Dongli out from the spatial ring. The evil spirit energy was truly heaven-defying. In the isolated space of the spatial ring, Dongli could still survive. It was just that he was basically in a state of suspended animation. After being pulled out by Yang Dingtian, he opened his eyes after a long while. The moment he saw Yang Dingtian, Dongli immediately revealed a deep-seated hatred, and immediately tried to escape. Yang Dingtian directly grabbed his neck and said, "You can self-destruct and escape, but no matter how fast your evil spirit flies, you can't outrun my sword soul prison. So, I advise you not to waste time." What do you want?" Dongli asked. "I want to make a deal with you." Yang Dingtian. "I want to destroy the Empire of Darkness, so please draw the territory of the Empire of Darkness, the location of the Skirich imperial capital, and the location of all the dark castles." "In your dreams," Dongli said sternly. "Don't even think about me betraying the Temple of Annihilation. If you don't agree, the consequences will be very tragic." Yang Dingtian sneered. "What can you do to me? You can't kill me. At most, you will be tortured like Walingzi." Dongli sneered. Yang Dingtian. "I can't kill you, but I can bury you in the dark matter and let it completely devour you. You will die together with the dark matter, just like Wu Yu Ming." "No!" Dongli suddenly screamed in horror. Chapter 1025. After Dongli recovered from his shock, he said in a trembling voice, "In your dreams, I will never betray the Temple of Annihilation, nor will I betray His Majesty the Demon King." "You're really loyal," Yang Dingtian said. "But unfortunately, whether it's Princely Ming or Queen Devil Queen, they don't put you in their eyes at all." Then, Yang Dingtian took out an image jade. In the image, Yang Dingtian proposed to exchange Dongli for Vulture. Queen Devil Queen was completely expressionless, while Princely Ming's mouth revealed a disdainful smile. This scene immediately hurt Dongli, and his face twitched violently. Yang Dingtian sneered. "Now, what status do you have in the Temple of Annihilation? Who asked you to be the young master? You're just an infinite great Grand Master, and there's basically no hope of breaking through to the half-saint realm." At this point, Dongli was suddenly filled with infinite hatred, and said angrily, "It's all because of you. If it weren't for you, I would have broken through to the half-saint realm long ago." Then, new and old grudges, including the matter of Queen Hai Xian, all rushed to his heart. Dongli said, "Yang Dingtian, I can't wait to tear you into pieces, and I can't wait to humiliate all your wives. If you want to get something from me, you're dreaming. If you give your wives to me to sleep with, I can still consider." Before Dongli could finish his words, he suddenly let out an incomparably shrill scream. This was because Yang Dingtian had ruthlessly kicked his balls, causing them to split open. That was the most vulnerable place of a human, and the pain after being hit was many times more painful than a woman giving birth to a child. Therefore, Dongli's instantaneous pain almost made him twitch, and he couldn't make a sound at all. "Do you agree?" Yang Dingtian asked. Dongli was in so much pain that he couldn't make a sound. His whole body was completely curled up because it really cracked. But soon, the evil spirit energy healed the cracked egg back to its original state. However, this kind of intense pain only gradually faded after a long while. Dongli was filled with hatred as he said, "You're dreaming. I will definitely take your wife, ah! Before he could finish, Dongli let out another earth-shattering scream. Because this time, Yang Dingtian directly stomped down and crushed it. After a while, the evil spirit's energy healed his wounds. That intense pain had just faded away. Do you agree? Yang Dingtian asked. You dream on, ah! Before Dongli could finish his words, Yang Dingtian stomped on it again. Next, Dongli completely fell into hell. Do you agree? Poof! Suddenly, he stomped his foot and burst it. Do you agree or not? Bang! He stomped on it again. Every time his balls finally recovered, Yang Dingtian would stomp on them until they burst. Then, there would be earth-shattering screams. Dongli felt that he really didn't know how many times he had died. He even wished that he could really die. He really did so. He directly detonated his sea of energy, crippled his body, and then escaped. Even if he couldn't escape, at least he wouldn't have to suffer such terrible pain. However, every time he was about to self-detonate his sea of energy, Yang Dingtian would stomp on it, and Dongli's balls would burst first. Under the fatal pain, he couldn't do anything at all. The self-detonation was also directly stopped. 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, a few days ago, Dongli was tortured by Wulingzi to the point that he wished he was dead. He was roasted again and again. Now he realized that compared to now, being roasted by Wulingzi on the fire was already heaven. Now it was hell. This kind of pain was fierce and sudden. It was simply unbearable. Finally, in the end, Dongli was completely like a dead dog. Although he was still in incomparable pain, he couldn't even make a sound. Yang Dingtian, dream on. I won't compromise, Dongli said. Anyway, even if you stomp on it 100 times, it will still recover. I know. That's why I'm just torturing you. I don't want to force you to surrender by stomping on your balls, Yang Dingtian said. Then, Yang Dingtian took out the primeval Naga's eye gem that he had obtained from the Mermaid Queen and melted it into a dark substance. What are you doing? Dongli said in shock. Yang Dingtian ignored him and directly grabbed him and stuffed him into the dark substance. Yang Dingtian, you dare. If anything happens to me, the vulture is finished. Don't forget that the raging void fire on me is needed by the Temple of Annihilation, Dongli said sternly. They need it, but at least they have to defeat me first. Yang Dingtian. But if they really defeat me, the demon King Wentian will possess me, and he will have my raging void fire. So, if he loses to me, you will be useless. If he defeats me and takes over my body, you will be of no use to him. You are just a spare tire. Evil ways will only make you angry if I kill you. As soon as these words came out, Dongli was really hit in the most terrifying part of his heart. Yang Dingtian was right. He might really be useless to the demon King Wentian. He was just a spare tire for the raging void fire. While speaking, Yang Dingtian directly stuffed Dongli into the dark substance and said, I will put you in there for 2 minutes. Oh, this is the unit of time on Earth. You should know that, right? After 2 minutes, I will melt the dark substance and release you. If you are lucky, more than half of your body will be left, but it seems that it will be really difficult for your egg to be preserved. It will be completely devoured. After being devoured by the dark substance, I don't know if it can grow back. As Yang Dingtian spoke, he directly stuffed him into the hole of the dark substance. Yang Dingtian, you dare. I will kill your whole family. I will rape and kill your woman, ah! No, let me go. The dark substance directly devoured him. Dongli watched as a few of his toes disappeared just like that. I surrender. I will tell you, I will draw it for you. Let me out. Dongli's voice became shrill like a eunuch's, filled with complete fear. Yang Dingtian used the eye gem to melt the dark substance on Dongli's feet and then lifted him out. Then, he observed his feet. There was really only half left. The other half had been completely devoured by the dark substance and disappeared. Come, use the evil energy to recover and see, Yang Dingtian said. Dongli shook his head in fear. After being devoured by the dark substance, there was no way to recover. Yang Dingtian carried him to a floating boulder, and then gave him a piece of paper and a pen. "Draw," Yang Dingtian said. Dongli's whole body was trembling as he began to draw. Yang Dingtian watched leisurely from the side and said, "It's really strange. You are about to rebel. Why didn't the first-class evil spirit stop you and suppress you?" Dongli said desolately. "As long as the first-class evil spirit doesn't suppress my will, it may know what I am doing, but it can't stop me. Unless the Devil Queen once again let the first-class evil spirit completely suppress me." "Wow," Yang Dingtian said. "That Devil Queen is going to die soon. She is really stupid. The moment you were captured, she should have completely suppressed your soul. They are not worried at all that I can reveal any secrets." Dongli said. "I don't even know what use you have to draw the map of the Empire of Darkness." Dongli wrote and drew. He drew very carefully. At first, his hands were trembling a little, but later, he drew very smoothly. He really had the style of an art student. Moreover, even the scale was very accurate. "I don't know why you want me to draw this thing, and I don't think you can do anything to the Empire of Darkness. However, this doesn't mean that I have surrendered to you. After this matter, you and I will still be mortal enemies," Dongli said coldly. "Of course. Otherwise, do you think we can still be friends?" Yang Dingtian sneered. "Your greatest asset is the moment when you betray the evil ways. You are useless to me." Dongli's body trembled and he continued to draw. The Empire of Darkness's territory was actually very simple. It only had the Dark Castle and the Skirich imperial capital. Although the Dark Castle was incomparably huge, it was only a dot in the Empire of Darkness's territory. Because the drawing was very accurate, Dongli finished the whole painting after more than 2 hours. Originally, Yang Dingtian should have threatened him and said that if he drew wrong, he would do something to him. However, he didn't do such a meaningless thing. Then, he began to study the painting and compare it with his own memories. As for Dongli, he wasn't worried at all that he would escape because Dongli couldn't be faster than Yang Dingtian's Naga royalty sword spirit. "The Skirich imperial capital will rotate, right?" Yang Dingtian suddenly said. "All the dark castles will rotate together. It is precisely because they rotate together that you can't see the Skirich imperial capital moving, right?" Dongli was stunned, then nodded. Yang Dingtian began to compare the map and pointed to a point in the northeast. "This is the world of ice and snow?" "Yes," Dongli said. "This is the yin-yang mirror, and this is the demon realm. Then, according to this map, the Skirich imperial capital should be connected to the Sunset Mountains? Because it is more than 30 to 40,000 miles away from the world of ice and snow," Yang Dingtian said. Dongli was silent. "Impossible. The Empire of Darkness's territory doesn't surpass the land of chaos. Otherwise, the Ghost City would be built near Sky City and wouldn't need to be built on the old site of Sky City," Yang Dingtian said. "Therefore, although the Empire of Darkness appears to be under a few continents on the surface, this space is also relatively independent and doesn't completely correspond to the ground." When these words came out, Dongli's expression changed slightly. "The Empire of Darkness is an independent space. Then, where is the top of the Skirich imperial capital?" Yang Dingtian fell into deep thought. Unable to think of anything, Yang Dingtian asked Dongli. "Do you know?" Dongli said. "You think too highly of me." Yang Dingtian closed his eyes and said, "The corresponding points of the Skirich imperial capital should indeed be the yin-yang mirror, the demon realm, and the world of ice and snow." "Then, where should it be?" Yang Dingtian closed his eyes and pondered. "According to theory, the corresponding points of the Skirich imperial capital have 2 characteristics. Either it's especially destructive because it's the place where the energy has been devoured the most, or it's the most intact of the continents because according to the tornado theory, the eye of the storm is absolutely quiet." Yang Dingtian muttered to himself as he began to recall the continents. After pondering for a moment, Yang Dingtian gave up on the idea of building a cart behind closed doors. He still needed to go out and investigate. He immediately went to the yin-yang mirror, the devil domain, and the world of ice and snow to search for the corresponding points of the Skirich Emperor's capital and the Darkness Empire's chi core. Immediately, Yang Dingtian threw Dongli back into the space ring and then flew out of the torn space. At this time, in the pyramid ruins of the old Naga Empire, the Naga Duga Shuang, who was curled up in a corner and looking for a sense of security, finally gradually quieted down. Then, his body shrank bit by bit. From a few 100 meters to a few dozen meters, then a dozen meters. In the end, he became only 4 or 5 meters long. However, his appearance still seemed to be in the shape of a naga. However, gradually, the golden scales on his body began to fall off. He really began to shed his skin like a snake. The whole process gradually became a little painful. If he didn't shed his skin, the binding feeling became stronger and stronger. It was even suffocating him. Shedding his skin was really painful. The Naga Duga Shuang began to swim with all his might, thrashing and grinding with all his might. He let the scales on his body peel off piece by piece, revealing the snow-white skin of a woman. Chapter 1026. Inside the pyramid, the Naga Shuang was painfully shedding the last layer of scales. Outside the pyramid, Queen Poisa watched the world turn upside down every day. The ruins of the old Naga Empire had shrunk into an irregular shape, like a malevolent and twisted planet. However, its surface still looked enormous and boundless. Because it couldn't reach a balance, the irregular shape of the ruins was constantly changing. Yesterday, a crystal mountain towered in front of her. Today, when she woke up, it might disappear and become a flat land. When she thought about it again tomorrow, it might become a huge abyss. Grandmasters. The world of the old ruins was changing every day. Queen Poisa even found that many pyramids were suddenly torn in half or crushed to pieces because of the two huge force fields. The pyramid she was residing in was very big, so she didn't have to worry about it for the time being. However, the venomous Sand Queen discovered that 3 enormous force fields were slowly approaching from less than 1,000 miles away. When the 3 force fields collided with each other, the pyramid would be smashed into smithereens. The Naga Shuang was still inside the pyramid. The force fields of the ruins were so astonishing that even a towering mountain would be crushed in an instant. Naga wouldn't be able to withstand it. However, the Naga Shuang hadn't regained her consciousness yet, so Queen Poisa couldn't enter. If she entered again, the Naga Shuang would really take her life. One had to know that the final Naga Shuang would be very suspicious and cruel. Queen Poisa hoped that the Naga Shuang would be able to regain her human form and consciousness as soon as possible. She hoped that Shuang would complete her final transformation before the 3 force fields collided. Yang Dingtian left the yin-yang mirror and entered the demon domain to search for the gas eye of the Empire of Darkness. He flew rapidly in the yin-yang mirror for 2 days, but the entire yin-yang mirror was exactly the same. He couldn't find the corresponding place above the Skirich imperial capital, so he had no choice but to enter the demon domain. The Empire of Darkness Skirich imperial capital had expended an unimaginable amount of energy to launch 2 Armageddon battles. They had also overdrawn the energy of several continents. The yin-yang mirror was still fine. It just kept sinking. A world of ice and snow was still fine. It was just that the sky and earth gradually became indistinguishable. As for this demon domain, it was no different from hell. Compared to the infernal domain that Yang Dingtian had seen previously, it was already completely different. Countless hills were gone, and so were countless hard plains. The entire infernal domain was filled with signs of being torn apart. There were bottomless abyssal rifts everywhere. The original demon domain was already a land of death. Now, it was even more devastated. Yang Dingtian flew above the infernal domain and carefully searched for that place. It seemed especially different. In the end, the boundless grounds seemed to be different from each other. However, it was as if there was nothing different about each place. Why did he say that? Because the current demon domain's terrain was already extremely complicated. There were huge chasms and abysses everywhere, but was there any flat land that was completely intact? Yes, there was everywhere. There were black, red, white, and colorless ones. Some were as hard as steel, while others were as clear as crystals. When he saw a crystal ground with a diameter of tens of thousands of meters for the first time, Yang Dingtian was ecstatic. He thought that this was the eye of the Empire of Darkness, and prepared to dig it out excitedly. This was because the crystal ground was perfectly round and emitted a special light. It was obvious at a glance that it was not an ordinary land. However, Yang Dingtian saw more than a dozen such crystal grounds in succession. Not to mention a complete circle, there were even vortexes and 8 trigrams. This demon domain was the strangest terrain. Under the effect of various energy fields, it was not strange at all that special crystals were produced. Next, Yang Dingtian saw even more strange grounds. There was a huge circular abyss that was completely bottomless. There was also a circular needle that suddenly stood tall and pierced the sky. It looked as if it was poked out of the imperial capital. The most exaggerated thing was that there was actually a lake in this terrifying demon domain. It was as clear as a mirror. When he touched the water in this lake again, he realized that it was as thick as a solid, but it did not leave any trace in his hand. In short, this demon domain was an extraordinary place. There were all kinds of strange things. It would be extremely difficult to find the eye of the Empire of Darkness in these countless strange places. However, there was no doubt that Prince Li Ming would not wait for Yang Dingtian. His killing spree had already begun. He avoided Cloud Sky City and the Heavenly Edict Academy because there would definitely be saint-level experts overseeing them. He killed from Railway Flame City all the way to Shijing and then to Northwest Qin City. Along the way, dozens of mid-level and high-level martial artists of the Council of Light were killed and hundreds were captured. The young master of the Divine Weapons Mountain Villa and the master of the Horror Mountain Villa, Zhao Mu, had both become Prince Li Ming's captives. These people appeared and disappeared unpredictably. Once they captured more than 3 people, they would immediately send them to the Empire of Darkness. Although there were only 3 people in total, 2 of them were saint level and 1 was a peak half-saint. They would not stay in one place for too long. At this time, Vulture had already fallen out with them, so they did not hesitate to deliberately leave traces to attract people from the Council of Light to come and hunt them down. But soon, she was unable to do anything because the Infernal Queen, undead concubine, had knocked her unconscious. Fortunately, the distribution of the higher-ups of the Council of Light was now completely confidential. Prince Li Ming's venomous snake could only scurry around like a headless fly. He could not kill or capture according to the important list. It was completely based on luck to see who would be caught. But even so, the consequences were unimaginable. The Council of Light had already reported the dangerous operations of the evil ways to various departments, defense areas, and posts. They also agreed to let them come to Cloud Sky City to hide. Of course, there were people who went to Cloud Sky City to hide, but there were also people who stayed in their positions. This was because there were too many things to do in the Council of Light now. As long as they left, many things would stop, and the entire area would fall into chaos. So, although Prince Li Ming's evil plan was simple, it was very, very effective. From Iron Furnace City to Shijing, countless castles, units, and parts had fallen into chaos. On the various walls of the Council of Light, countless heads of the higher-ups of the Council of Light had been thrown. Many areas were completely in a state of panic. It could be said that if Prince Li Ming's actions were not stopped as soon as possible, the morale of the entire Council of Light would be extremely low. Many of the Council of Light's affairs would also fall into chaos. Furthermore, he could only watch helplessly as the evil Dao entered unhindered, slaughtering and capturing people. Many of the people in the Council of Light could not help but fall into a kind of resentment. Why didn't the higher-ups of the Council of Light send out saint-level experts to hunt down these evil ways? Why did they only send out those important people to guard Cloud Sky City? Why did they want these small people to die? The dignified Council of Light seemed to be riddled with holes, allowing these evil ways to come and go as they pleased. Of course, the Council of Light knew that they could not be led by the nose by Prince Li Ming. If that happened, the consequences would be even more terrifying. Moreover, almost all of the most important things and secrets were in Cloud Sky City. Now, there were a total of 3 saint-level experts. They could not lose the gate of the human kingdom. There had to be 2 saint-level experts almost at all times. And Cloud Sky City could not be lost either. There had to be 2 saint-level experts. So, without a choice, Nera had to constantly shuttle back and forth between Cloud Sky City and the Taboo Continent. She also had to prepare many substitutes to confuse the enemy. In short, the current Council of Light had almost completely sunk into a passive state of defense. They could not fight back when they were attacked. If this situation continued for half a month or even a month, the consequences would be unimaginable. Not to mention, there would be a large number of the Council of Light's backbone being killed and captured. Most importantly, the people's hearts would be lost. So, even though the higher-ups of the Council of Light were so angry that they almost vomited blood and wanted to rush up and perish together with the evil ways, they were not willing to sully themselves in Cloud Sky City. But Yang Dinqian's orders were clear. Anyone who could work in Cloud Sky City must stay in Cloud Sky City and must not leave. Most importantly, everyone in the Council of Light was not allowed to directly fight with the saint-level experts of the evil ways. Playing to one's strengths and avoiding one's weaknesses was a tactic that Crown Prince Li Ming used to its fullest potential. In just a few days, the entire human kingdom was jittery. Everyone was in a state of panic. Countless people were in a constant state of anxiety. And Yang Dingtian did not have any countermeasures. He did not even make a sound or show himself. Under the threat of death, a few people in the Council of Light were disappointed in Yang Dingtian and started to resent him. When the Devil Queen saw that Prince Li Ming's strategy was so effective, she could not help but feel ashamed. She had made such a big fuss and started 2 world-ending wars, but in the end, she was completely annihilated. And Li Ming's small actions had caused the entire Council of Light to be in a state of chaos. It was truly a case of using 4 tails to achieve 1,000 caddies. Li Ming and the other 2 went to the central continent and flew over the vast sea. "This island seems a little strange," Prince Li Ming said. Then, he brought the Devil Queen and Dishibian to land on the island. Using the most violent method, he directly lifted the thick soil of the island and found a secret passage that was a few hundred meters deep. Prince Li Ming said happily, "This is a secret base of the Council of Light. There must be something very important inside." He guessed correctly. This was a secret research base of the Council of Light. What they were researching was the new generation of Crystal X formula. Of course, it was one of the secret bases. The reason why they had to research here was because there was a special energy field a few thousand meters below. The new Crystal X formula was especially stable in this energy field. Therefore, although this was a deserted island, they had no choice but to put the secret base here. Moreover, there were no more than 5 people who knew about this secret base. Unexpectedly, it was accidentally discovered by Prince Li Ming. Just as they were attacking the island, an ancient giant beast suddenly rushed out of the sea. It opened its bloody mouth and wanted to kill Prince Li Ming and the others. Dishi Bian immediately rushed forward. With his strength alone, he monopolized this ancient giant beast of the Mermaid Empire. Devil Queen and Prince Li Ming used their fastest speed to kill their way into the secret passage. At the end of the secret passage was a huge energy array. This was the secret base's last line of defense. Even a saint-level powerhouse could not enter. Prince Li Ming sneered and then took a few steps back. Devil Queen directly released the magic staff soul sword and fiercely drilled into the energy array. Every energy array had a solution, but people could not try to solve it. Because if they made a single mistake, they would be turned into ashes. However, the soul sword would be safe and sound because it was not a living thing. Therefore, it could be tried countless times. As long as there was enough time, the energy array could be solved. Just as the magic staff soul sword was trying various methods and was getting closer and closer to solving the energy array, suddenly, a figure appeared in front of Devil Queen. "No need to activate the energy array. I'm here." The one-armed Zhu Hongxue slowly walked out. This secret base was indeed important. It was actually guarded by Shu Hongxue. Queen Devil Queen waved her hand and immediately retracted the magic staff. Shu Hongxue directly walked out of the energy array and said, "Kill me, torture me, do whatever you want." Queen Devil Queen said, "The future master of the Black Heaven sect, Yang Dingtian's sworn brother, how could I bear to kill him?" She was indeed overjoyed. This Shu Hongxue was indeed a big fish. With him as a hostage, the possibility of Yang Dingtian compromising and retreating greatly increased. She was about to give the order to capture Zhu Hongxue and then rush into the energy array. But at this moment, Prince Li Ming suddenly sneered and said, "Your Majesty Devil Queen, wake Vulture up." Devil Queen was stunned. She did not know why Li Ming was doing this, but she did as he said and woke Vulture up. Vulture woke up and was shocked to see the one-armed Zhu Hongxue. This Shu Hongxue was her husband's sworn brother. He was very, very important. If he fell into the hands of evil ways, how could it be good? Prince Li Ming suddenly said, "Madam Vulture, people have to make many choices in their life. Some of them are very important, and once you make a choice, there is no way back." Vulture's expression changed dramatically when she heard this. Crown Prince Li Ming handed over a sharp sword and said, "So you have to make a choice now. Either you stay here and be humiliated by me. You can be raped here, or you can kill Yang Dingtian's sworn brother." Vulture turned pale when she heard Li Ming's words. These two things were a dead end for her. If she killed Yang Dingtian's sworn brother then she would never be able to turn back and return to Yang Dingtian's side. And if she did not kill him, she would be raped and humiliated by Li Ming, this beast, which was equivalent to being destroyed once again. Vulture's beautiful eyes widened. She gritted her teeth and bled. "Quick, I will count to 10. I will take off my clothes as I count." Prince Li Ming sneered and counted down. He took off his clothes one by one. At this time, Yang Dingtian had searched all over the demon's domain, but he could not find the Qi. He was burning with anxiety. Moreover, he was completely disturbed by the strange scenes in the demon's domain. He immediately flew up into the sky. He flew higher and higher, higher and higher. Then, he suddenly saw that the demon's domain had completely changed 10,000 meters in the sky. Looking down from the sky, the entire demon's domain seemed to be a huge whirlpool. Yang Dingtian was ecstatic. He found it. He found the Empire of Darkness's Qi. Chapter 1027. The higher Yang Dingtian flew, the clearer he could see. On the ground, those strange scenes, such as the crystal ground, the big crack, the lake that appeared out of thin air, and so on, all became pixels. These countless pixels formed a pattern, an incomparably huge vortex. Without a doubt, this was formed by the operation of the Empire of Darkness and the Skirich Emperor's capital over time. Looking from the sky, the center of the entire vortex was actually ordinary. It wasn't an anomaly that had been destroyed, nor was it an undamaged oasis. It was just ordinary ground, which was different from what Yang Dingtian had imagined. Yang Dingtian descended from the sky and landed directly at the center of this vortex. Then, he took out the near Emperor grade soul sword and used his consciousness to control the soul sword to quickly dig in. In the blink of an eye, it dug deeper and deeper. Even without the sword's soul, the digging ability of this near Emperor grade soul sword was extremely shocking. Dozens of kilometers, hundreds of kilometers, it dug down quickly. 1,000 kilometers, 2,000 kilometers, then, the entire soul sword could no longer dig any further. Yang Dingtian quickly flew down and directly flew to the end of the tunnel. In front, the soul sword kept spinning, but it couldn't dig any further. Yang Dingtian went closer to take a look. The thing below looked like an ordinary rock and was pitch black in color. However, the soul sword couldn't do anything to it at all. This was another kind of energy substance. Although it also looked black, it wasn't dark matter because it didn't devour the soul sword. Dark matter didn't have any light, but this energy substance was black and dazzling. Yang Dingtian tried to attack it with the Naga royalty sword's soul, but it didn't react at all. Yang Dingtian took out the eye of the primeval Naga. This gem could easily melt dark matter, but it couldn't do anything to this energy substance in front of him. Next, Yang Dingtian really poured in all his methods. He used the dark fire lightning to bombard it, burned it with the dark fire, and even devoured it with the dark fire. The energy substance in front of him remained unmoved. Furthermore, when Yang Dingtian used the darkness mystic flame to engulf, he clearly felt an endless stream of energy being engulfed. However, the black energy substance in front of him didn't change at all. Yang Dingtian was at his wits' end. However, it was also because of this that he was even more certain that this was the eye of the Empire of Darkness, the vital point of the entire Skirich imperial capital. If one had to use an analogy, this place was like the pivot point of the Skirich imperial capital. Therefore, this kind of material was especially strong, so strong that it was almost indestructible. Yang Dingtian only lasted for 2 hours in front of this substance before he immediately gave up. In the face of an unknown substance, the first thing to do was to make it known, and then think of a way to break through it. Without a doubt, the High Priest Association of Little Western Paradise was the most knowledgeable about unknown substances. Yang Dingtian left as fast as he could and used stones to bury the hole that he had dug out. Then, he flew directly to the yin-yang mirror. In the yin-yang mirror, he opened a space door and jumped into the torn space. Then, he flew for tens of thousands of miles in the torn space and arrived at the connection between the torn space and the Little Western Paradise. After creating a space door and jumping out of the torn space, Yang Dingtian once again arrived at Mount Buzhou. This was Yang Dingtian's third time coming to Mount Buzhou. This time, he didn't even call for the door and directly entered. This was because he also had an energy key with him that could open the door to the High Priest Association. This was an extremely strict organization that rejected all outsiders. Even though Nera had stayed here for hundreds of years, she was still an outsider. However, this was an extremely undisciplined organization. Ever since Yang Dingtian was treated as one of their own, he didn't even need to ask for the consent of others. Yang Dingtian had obtained the energy key and was completely free to enter and leave. At this moment, the hall of the association was empty. Yang Dingtian immediately walked towards the demon fox high priest's direction. He knocked lightly on the door. "Who is it? I'm not wearing any clothes. If there's nothing else, don't come in." The demon fox high priest's voice came from inside. "It's me, Yang Dingtian," Yang Dingtian said. The stone door opened. Yang Dingtian thought for a while and turned around, waiting for the demon fox high priest to put on her clothes. Unexpectedly, the demon fox high priest went forward and pulled him in, then closed the door. Yang Dingtian entered and saw that it was filled with good wine and many books. They were all leisure books. The demon fox high priest was lazily drinking wine while reading a book. These high priests were all racing against time to research their own direction. Things like drinking wine and reading books were completely unimaginable. Seeing Yang Dingtian's expression, the demon fox high priest said, "It wasn't easy to solve the problem of the sword soul after working hard for hundreds of years. Of course, I have to relax." Then, the demon fox high priest passed the wine in her hand to Yang Dingtian, and drank from the bottle. Yang Dingtian drank it in one gulp. "What's the matter?" the demon fox high priest said. "Are you here to bring me out?" Yang Dingtian said. "I don't dare to. I'm here to ask for help." "Did you win the World Extermination War?" the demon fox high priest asked. "I won, and I won twice," Yang Dingtian said. "What's the matter now? Do you need our help?" the demon fox high priest asked. Yang Dingtian said, "I encountered a material. It's black, but it's not the darkness material. It's so black that it's shiny, and it looks like metal. However, it's immune to any damage. I used the mystic flame to burn it, lightning to strike it, and even the darkness mystic flame to devour it, but it's useless." Then Yang Dingtian said, "Oh right, when the darkness mystic flame devoured it, I felt an endless amount of energy being devoured, but the material didn't change at all." The demon fox high priest said, You know that my research doesn't include these mysterious materials, Yang Dingtian said. I know, but there might be records of these materials in the association's library. The demon fox high priest said. Let's just find someone. Many people's research might not be in the library. Then, she put on her clothes and dragged Yang Dingtian to knock on the door. The demon fox knocked on Fire Dance's stone door. She didn't know martial arts, but she was the leader of the High Priest Association. This woman wasn't at the top in terms of academics, and she wasn't at the top in terms of martial arts either. She became the leader of the association because she was fierce and righteous, and she was extremely beautiful. Most of the men in the High Priest Association had a crush on her. Another important reason was that she knew how to fight, and she was ruthless when fighting. She seemed to be meditating, so knocking on the door couldn't wake her up. Therefore, the demon fox rang the meditation energy bell. This bell was directly connected to the inside, and it could wake up the priest who was meditating. However, there was a huge responsibility to ring this bell. It had to be something very important to ring this bell. After the bell was rung, Fire Dance's fierce and sexy voice sounded from inside. No matter who you are, you better have a good reason. Otherwise, you're finished. Fire Dance's voice was still so powerful and hot. Then, the stone door opened, and a woman who was as beautiful as fire and couldn't be looked at directly appeared in front of Yang Dingtian and the demon fox high priest. Oh, it's you. What's the matter? You haven't left yet? Fire Dance looked at Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian said, I've already left, but I came back to ask for help. What's the matter? Speak, Fire Dance said. She was still so righteous. Yang Dingtian told her about his matter, and he couldn't help but feel uneasy. Because to the High Priest Association, asking to identify a special energy substance was completely a small matter. It wasn't right to use this matter to disturb someone's meditation. After finishing her statement, Fire Dance didn't say anything else and immediately pulled Yang Dingtian towards a place. I'm not familiar with the mysterious energy substance. But there's one person I'm familiar with. Although the Silent Tribe member is an idiot, he definitely knows the most about the mysterious energy substance. Huowu pulled Yang Dingtian and walked into the deepest part of these caves. Then, she didn't care whether the people inside were meditating or not, and directly rang the bell. Moreover, she didn't just ring it once, but kept ringing it impatiently. Soon, the stone door opened, and a Silent Tribe member that Yang Dingtian had never seen before walked out. This Silent Tribe member was very white and very thin, as if he had never seen the sun before. The Silent Tribe member's waist was originally slightly bent, but this Silent Tribe member in front of him was completely hunchbacked. However, his appearance was also very delicate. Therefore, he looked very strange. A hunchback handsome man from the Silent Tribe? Moreover, Yang Dingtian had never seen him before. When all the members of the High Priest Association had a meeting last time, he wasn't present. This was because he would always abstain, so there was no need for him to express his opinion. There's a special energy substance that's extremely black, but it's not a dark substance. It has a shiny reflection light, like metal. Mystic fire doesn't burn it, darkness mystic fire doesn't devour it, lightning strike doesn't work, and primeval Naga's eye melted it also doesn't work. However, when the darkness profound flame devours, there is an unending flow of energy. However, this mysterious energy substance does not have any reaction at all. Fire Dance did not exchange pleasantries and directly asked, Do you know what this is? This hunchback Silent Tribe member didn't seem to be in a trance from meditation. He was groggy as if he hadn't woken up yet. When he heard Fire Dance's questions, it took him a long time to react. Then, he nodded and said, I know. Then tell me. Fire Dance said. The hunchback Silent Tribe member said, This thing, I call it a refraction substance. Mystic fire doesn't burn it because it's a kind of energy. Darkness mystic fire devours an endless flow of energy because it doesn't have any energy itself. It's just a kind of energy conductor. Moreover, it's the best energy conductor. It can conduct any kind of energy, and there's almost no loss. When it came to his specialty, the hunchback silent tribe member said, "We all know that there are many kinds of energy that can't be transmitted. For example, corrosive energy. Most conductors will be destroyed. For example, the high temperature of millions of mystic fire can't be transmitted. For example, some dark energy and so on. Therefore, it needs a very, very special thing that can transmit any kind of energy." Then, the hunchback silent clan member started rummaging through the pile of stone in his room. As he searched, he said, "And we know that there's a kind of energy crystal that can store most kinds of energy, including darkness crystals, undead magic crystals and so on, including unfreezing water. It's not because it's very powerful, but because its surface will form an absolute void layer. This void layer is created by a kind of energy magnetic field filling each other." Then, this hunchback silent tribe member finally found an energy box. He opened it directly and said, "Here, this is a refractor. I got it from an ancient secret realm." Yang Dingtian couldn't help but be stunned when he saw it. The mysterious substance he saw in the depths of the demonic realm's vortex was black and shiny. But this thing in front of him was snow white? The hunchback silent tribe member said, "This kind of refractor compresses the magnetic field energy on the surface of the energy crystal infinitely. It compresses tens of thousands of feet into less than half an inch, turning invisible into visible. Originally, this kind of void almost doesn't conduct any energy. But because of the extreme increase in density, it almost doesn't conduct any energy to conduct any energy with zero loss, and it's absolutely indestructible." Yang Dingtian looked at the thing inside the energy jade box carefully. Although the color was different, everything else was exactly the same. The hunchback silent tribe member said, "This refractor originally didn't have any color. Whatever environment it is in, it will show the same color." Yang Dingtian understood and then said, "Is it really completely indestructible?" The hunchback silent tribe member said, "How can you destroy a complete void?" Yang Dingtian was stunned. Yes, how could a pure void be destroyed? And this refractor was like an infinite void energy field compressed into a condensed energy conductor. "Don't you have any way?" Fire Dance questioned. The hunchback silent tribe member shook his head and said, "I really don't have a way. I've tried for hundreds of years and used countless methods to change it, but I can't do it at all." Yang Dingtian asked, "Then is there any way in theory?" The hunchback silent tribe member said, "In theory, there is a way, but it's meaningless. Because this method surpasses the refractor academically by who knows how many levels. Don't talk nonsense. Speak." Fire Dance scolded. "Spatial technique." The hunchback silent tribe member said, "Use spatial technique to enter this refractor and cut open many isolated spaces inside to destroy its conductive function." Immediately, there was silence. The hunchback silent tribe member said, "As I said, this method is equivalent to no method. Spatial technique is the peak of the entire world's learning. It can't be achieved." Yang Dingtian was about to speak, but Fire Dance grabbed him and left without looking back. "Continue meditating." Fire Dance left and closed the door. After walking away, Yang Dingtian said in confusion, "Senior Fire Dance, I clearly know spatial technique." Fire Dance said, "That idiot, if you know that you know spatial technique, you won't be able to leave. He'll use all kinds of methods to pester you, and you won't be able to shake him off." Yang Dingtian was stunned and said, But isn't this not very good? You're still too thin-skinned." Fire Dance said, "All right, you've got the method. You're pressed for time, so I won't keep you. Thank you, Senior Fire Dance." Yang Dingtian bowed and said, "Why don't you try calling me Senior again?" Fire Dance frowned. Yang Dingtian bowed again and said, "Thank you, Miss Fire Dance." Fire Dance nodded and said, "Next time you come, don't look for the fox spirit first. Just knock on my door." "Yes." Yang Dingtian. Then, after bidding farewell to the fox spirit priest, Yang Dingtian left Mount Buzhou as quickly as possible. He was racing against time. Every second that was delayed was detrimental to the Radiant Council. He wanted to give the entire evil ways, the entire empire of darkness, a fatal blow as soon as possible. The scene returned to the secret base on the isolated island. Princely Ming was counting down while taking off his clothes. Vulture finally couldn't hold it in anymore. Her delicate body trembled as she cried. Either kill Shu Hongxue or be humiliated by Li Ming. She didn't want to choose either, but doing nothing was also a choice. Soon, Princely Ming counted to 10. It seems that you can't kill Shu Hongxue. You want to rape me? Then I won't be polite. Princely Ming walked forward ferociously. The Azura spirit vulture mustered all of its courage and prepared to strike. But in the end, she found that she couldn't even lift a finger. Because the Queen Devil Queen suppressed every inch of her profound veins. Suddenly, her delicate body was covered with ice. She was reborn with great difficulty and became proud and beautiful. Now, she was going to fall into the abyss again. Being humiliated by a beast like Li Ming, she really couldn't wash it away for the rest of her life. Although she knew that Yang Dingtian wouldn't blame her and would treat her better. But for Vulture, her nobility was completely destroyed. What was the difference between a woman who had been humiliated and the one who had been tortured by Dongli? It meant that she would return to darkness. But she didn't want to kill Shu Hongxue. Perhaps obtaining this perfect body and possessing a powerful cultivation base was just a dream. Vulture's heart was incomparably sad and even gave up on herself. At this moment, Shu Hongxue suddenly said slowly, "Madam, you don't have to choose, but don't forget this moment today." Bang! Shu Hongxue's chest and abdomen exploded. His profound veins didn't explode, but the crystal hidden in his body exploded. In order to protect the secret of the crystal's formula, he chose to come out and deal with the Devil Queen. But he absolutely didn't want to become a captive, so he chose the most decisive path. At the same time, the secret base behind him suddenly collapsed and shattered into pieces. Countless crazy beasts rushed in crazily. Chapter 1028. In fact, the next generation formula of Crystal X was priceless in the eyes of the Council of Light. It was a complete strategic secret. However, in the eyes of the evil ways, it might not be valued much. Even if they discovered it, they might just be interested in it, and might not develop it vigorously. However, Shu Hongxue was in charge of this secret base. He had to completely protect this strategic secret and not leak it, even if he had to pay with his life. Therefore, when the Queen Devil Queen's Sword Soul Wand was trying to crack the energy array, the secret base inside had already begun to destroy all the information, all the finished products, and semi-finished products. Then, it immediately opened the final escape route. But all of this needed time. Therefore, Shu Hongxue walked out and dealt with the people of the evil ways. When he made this decision, he had no intention of living. He knew that in front of the experts of the evil ways, it was impossible for him to kill himself with his cultivation. Therefore, he swallowed a small crystal bomb early and had already activated a delayed detonation. As long as the time was up, he would completely blow himself up. Finally, he had stalled for enough time. Everything in the secret base had been completely destroyed. The water channel at the back door exploded, and the energy array was removed. At this time, the underwater monsters of the Mermaid Empire had already swarmed over. They took many warlocks and fled as fast as they could. More underwater monsters came forward to besiege the Queen Devil Queen, Prince Li Ming, and the others. The moment she saw Shu Hongxue self-destruct, Vulture trembled all over, and then couldn't help but scream loudly. She didn't even know why she was screaming. She was a greedy and selfish person, a person who was vain and afraid of death. However, when the naked righteousness and sacrifice appeared in front of her in blood, it still gave her an incomparable shock. In this world, there were really such stupid people who would rather die to help others. In Vulture's heart, Shu Hongxue didn't die to protect the secret at all, nor did he die to become a captive. In her heart, Shu Hongxue died for her. In order not to make things difficult for her, and to protect her chastity, Shu Hongxue chose to die. and she had nothing to do with him. It was only because she was Yang Dingtian's woman. Just by having this identity, there were people willing to die for him. The shock this brought to Spirit Vulture was unparalleled. She couldn't help but charge straight at Zhu Hongxue. She and Zhu Hongxue could be considered as sworn siblings, but there was almost no friendship between them. In fact, Vulture had almost forgotten that she and Zhu Hongxue were sworn siblings. She was a snobbish person and only had eyes for the most prominent people. Everyone from the Council of Light was just a symbol in her heart. She only had eyes for Yang Dingtian. However, at this moment she truly felt that this one-armed man in front of her was like a family member. Therefore, she couldn't help but rush forward and cry. However, there was another person who was faster than her. It was Prince Li Ming. He rushed forward like lightning, desperately stuffing pills into Zhu Hongxue's mouth. However, Zhu Hongxue's stomach had already exploded. How could he swallow it? The Devil Queen stepped forward and used extremely cold energy to freeze him in an instant. Zhu Hongxue was Yang Dingtian's sworn brother and a very important hostage. How could Li Ming be willing to let him die? Quick, 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 return to the Empire of Darkness. Before his soul leaves his body, use the evil spirit to save him, Prince Li Ming said. Then, the three of them no longer cared about the crazily charging underwater behemoths. They directly took Vulture and Zhu Hongxue out of the sea and flew north at the fastest speed. After entering the Empire of Darkness, Prince Li Ming immediately found Wu Daozi. He still had a third-class evil spirit under his banner that had not been given out. Under Li Ming's order, Wu Daozi couldn't ask why and directly introduced the third-class evil spirit into Zhu Hongxue's body. The energy of the third-class evil spirit first enveloped Zhu Hongxue's head, then spread along the blood vessels into the heart, and then from the heart down to the Sea of Qi. However, Zhu Hongxue's entire abdomen had already exploded. When the evil spirit energy reached the Sea of Qi in the abdomen, it stopped. This was because almost all the blood vessels and Xian meridians were broken. Seeing this, Prince Li Ming's face couldn't help but sink. Zhu Hongxue was dead, and he had lost the most valuable hostage at the moment. Prince Li Ming wanted to use Zhu Hongxue to exchange for Dongli and all the evil spirit warriors. That's right, he was very greedy. However, who asked Yang Dingtian to be so loyal? If Yang Dingtian didn't agree, then he would be hypocritical, and the hearts of the Council of Light would dissipate a little. Finally, the third-class evil spirit energy found a remnant Xian meridian in the most remote corner of the sea, leading to the Sea of Qi. Then, the evil spirit energy poured into the broken Sea of Qi. Then, the powerful evil spirit energy repaired the Sea of Qi bit by bit, healing the broken Xian meridians inch by inch. This scene was quite sci-fi and mysterious. Countless Xian meridian energy threads were like weaving cloth, growing out one by one. Finally, the destroyed Xian meridians and blood vessels were completely rebuilt. Then bones, muscles, and skin all grew out. After a full 2 hours, Zhu Hongxue was already intact. Then, his body suddenly trembled, and he opened his eyes. At first glance, he saw Prince Li Ming and Wu Daozi. His face suddenly changed, and he said in horror, You planted the evil spirit energy in me? No need to thank us. Prince Li Ming sneered. You will die a horrible death, a horrible death. Zhu Hongxue roared loudly. With the third-class evil spirit, your cultivation has increased a lot. Instead of thanking me, you curse me. What do you mean? Li Ming sneered. The furious Zhu Hongxue suddenly condensed his Xian meridians and Sea of Qi, and then was about to self-destruct. Boom! The self-destruction was successful. However, just as the first hole was torn in the Sea of Qi, the evil spirit energy immediately rushed up and completely repaired it. He suddenly rushed like lightning and slammed his head into the wall not far away. Prince Li Ming did not stop him. Bang! A loud sound. Zhu Hongxue's head was directly blown open, and his skull was smashed and flew away. However, under the protection of the evil spirit energy, his brain was still safe and sound. Immediately after, the smashed skull was quickly restored. Even his jet-black hair was completely undamaged. At this time, even if he wanted to die, he could not. The furious Zhu Hongxue was like a wild beast, roaring crazily. After a long time, he calmed down and said slowly, "Okay, you don't have to waste your effort. I will not surrender. What delicious food do you have, and what peerless beauty to corrupt me? Just come, I will definitely not refuse." Prince Li Ming immediately clapped hard, and said, "What a loyal warrior! But don't worry, Zhu Hongxue. I have never thought of asking you to surrender. First, we don't lack you, and second, I know you will not surrender. I just want to use you to exchange some things with your sect master Yang Dingtian." When these words came out, Zhu Hongxue's expression changed dramatically, and he said sternly, "Don't even think about it. I will definitely not let the sect master sacrifice anything for me." Crown Prince Li Ming said, "That's not up to you to decide. Your sect master is a hypocrite. If you don't agree, wouldn't it ruin his reputation? So even if you swallow your anger, you will still agree. However, after you go back, I'm afraid your life will be difficult. You will be seen as a thorn in his side, a thorn in his flesh." Then, Prince Li Ming said, "Even if you want to die, you can't die. What other choice do you have?" Zhu Hongxue immediately closed his eyes in pain and lay on the bed, not saying a word. At this time, Shura Vulture was curled up in her room. The scene of Zhu Hongxue exploding herself kept replaying in her mind. And the entire Empire of Darkness, this gorgeous room of hers, became incomparably disgusting, dirty, and disgusting. She couldn't stay for a moment longer. She wanted to leave this place every minute and return to Yang Dingtian's side. Then, she and Yang Dingtian would return together and carry out the cruelest revenge on everyone here. "Li Ming, one day, I will make you beg for death." At this time, Yang Dingtian didn't stop. He flew through the torn space, then entered the yin-yang mirror, and finally flew above the demon domain. Originally, he was worried that the cave he dug on the demon domain would be discovered by the evil ways. In the end, he was completely overthinking. In fact, although the evil ways occupied the Empire of Darkness, they didn't know the principles of the Empire of Darkness. Therefore, they might not know about this evil ways gas eye. Yang Dingtian dug the entrance of the gas eye again. This time, he only needed to dig 1,000 meters because after he left, he only buried the top 1,000 meters. Yang Dingtian followed the tunnel that he dug and flew directly into the depths of the Earth's core. After flying for more than 2,000 kilometers, he finally arrived at the bottom. In front of him was the bending object that the hunchback silent race mentioned. It was the pivot point of the entire Skirich imperial capital, and was also the energy conductor. The mystic vein essence was the best energy conductor, but it couldn't be destroyed by humans. This bending object was an energy body formed by the compression of the field of nothingness on the energy crystals. It was completely unbreakable. Even the darkness mystic flame couldn't do anything because it didn't contain energy. It was only a conductor of energy. However, because it was infinitely compressed, it seemed to be formless yet tangible. Therefore, nothing could pass through it. The ancient civilization chose it as the pivot point of the Skirich imperial capital, which could be said to be the most perfect result. Other than the spatial technique, there was probably no other way to destroy it. Yang Dingtian immediately used the darkness mystic flame to create a dark vortex. Soon, a small isolated space was formed under the effect of the black hole. Next, he had to figure out how to guide the isolated space into the folding object. Yang Dingtian used his mystic chi to drive it. Instantly, the dark vortex approached the gas eye of the Skirich imperial capital. What could enter the nothingness? The dark vortex was an existing substance. Of course, it couldn't enter. However, the isolated space was a kind of nothingness. Naturally, it could be entered. A space suddenly entered the deflector of the Qi, and the Qianquan inside was instantly thrown into chaos. Boom! In an instant, the entire demon domain collapsed. Chapter 1029. It was truly an earth-shattering scene. Originally, although the demon realm was constantly being devoured, it had also entered an extremely strange balance. Now, this balance was destroyed. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian clearly felt a series of loud noises. Then, the surrounding land crazily crowded and collided together. Countless cracks were torn open, and countless pieces of land fiercely collided together. In an instant, a powerful energy aura surged into the sky. The entire demon realm, the world of ice and snow, and even the yin-yang mirror underwent a shocking change. But this wasn't the most terrifying thing. The most terrifying thing was that the Skirich imperial capital in the Empire of Darkness stopped rotating. At this moment, Princely Ming was constantly attacking Zhu Hongshue's heart. Suddenly, the entire Skirich imperial capital shook. Almost all of them were sent flying out. Then, it was as if there was a power outage. All the light in the Skirich imperial capital was extinguished. Almost at the same time, the light in the countless dark castles in the surrounding area was extinguished. The refining and fusion formations all stopped and lost their brilliance. Then, a suffocating energy pressure spread. There was originally no air in the Empire of Darkness. It was the Skirich imperial capital that continuously absorbed energy and mystic chi from the outside world to supply the entire Skirich imperial capital. As for the lights inside, they were all powered by crystals, and they all needed energy. Not only that, but the surrounding temperature was also rapidly rising. In short, everyone present felt an extremely frightening sense of discomfort. Li Ming was shocked. He looked at the Devil Queen. Could it be that something had happened to the Empire of Darkness? At this moment, Yang Dingtian only needed to confirm that he could use the spatial technique to isolate the energy conduction of the refractor and deal a fatal blow to the Empire of Darkness. He immediately stopped the transmission of mystic chi. Instantly, the dark vortex stopped, and the isolated space automatically disappeared. Then, the refractor resumed its energy conduction. The entire Skirich imperial capital began to rotate again. The entire Empire of Darkness regained its energy supply. All the lights in the Skirich imperial capital lit up, and all the dark castles recovered their energy. The surrounding temperature once again dropped to a comfortable level. As for Yang Dingtian, he used his fastest speed to return to Cloud Sky City. He wanted to ensure that the Council of Light suffered a great loss this time, and then he would plan how to force the evil ways to make concessions. Seeing that the Skirich imperial capital had returned to normal, Princely Ming let out a long sigh of relief. Perhaps this was just a normal procedure in the operations cycle of the Empire of Darkness. Then, Princely Ming continued to take out the recording jade and recorded Zhu Hongshue's current situation. Zhu Hongxue, do you want to have a few words with your sect leader Yang Dingtian? Princely Ming asked with a smile. Zhu Hongxue closed his eyes and ignored him. Princely Ming curled his lips into a smile, not caring at all. After recording an image jade, he put it away. Then, she said to the Devil Queen, "It's time to talk to Yang Dingtian and make a deal." Yang Dingtian returned to Cloud Sky City as fast as he could and got the list of the Council of Light's losses in the past few days. 129 people, including 2 Great Masters, 11 Masters, 45 Martial Venerables, and the rest were all Martial Grand Masters. Some people, half of them, were already dead because their heads were hanging on the Council of Light's castle. Half of them were captured. 2 people were captured, and the 3 most important people were Zhu Hongxue, the young master of the Mystic Sky sect, Chou Yiming, the young master of the Divine Weapons Villa, and Zhao Mu, the master of the Horror Mountain Villa. Although the losses were not very great, Yang Dingtian's heart still twitched with pain. On the other hand, the entire Radiant Parliament was frowning. Everyone in the evil ways was hiding in the Empire of Darkness. The Council of Light was completely helpless. The evil ways that came out to hunt were all martial saints and peak half-saints. In addition, they had evil spirit energy, so they could not be killed. Moreover, they appeared and disappeared unpredictably, so the Council of Light was completely helpless. In the long run, the consequences would be unimaginable. Either the Council of Light would stop operating, and the entire human country would fall into chaos. or more and more of the Council of Light's backbone would be captured and hunted down. It could be said that it was almost completely unsolvable. Therefore, the moment Yang Ditian landed in Cloud Sky City, almost all of the Council of Light's higher-ups rushed up and asked Yang Dingtian when he would attack the Empire of Darkness. Yang Ditian looked at everyone and saw that their expressions were filled with anger and anxiousness. "Come in, let's have a meeting." Yang Dingtian walked into the castle. "First of all, my attack on the Empire of Darkness has been successful. It's completely destructive," Yang Dingtian said. When these words came out, everyone present was shocked. The Empire of Darkness was so powerful and completely unsolvable, but he had actually succeeded in attacking it? This was too unbelievable. The Mermaid Queen Violet said. "How did you do it?" Yang Dingtian said. "All of the Empire of Darkness's energy relies on the rotation of the Skirich Imperial Capital to absorb a few pieces of land. And I just happened to be able to interrupt its energy transmission, causing the entire Empire of Darkness to stagnate. Once the energy supply is lost, the entire Empire of Darkness will completely collapse." When these words came out, everyone was overjoyed. "Then there's no need to wait. Immediately destroy the Empire of Darkness and completely eliminate the evil ways," many people said excitedly. Yang Dingtian said. "And what we want to discuss is this matter. Should we destroy the Empire of Darkness?" When these words came out, many people present fell into a state of shock. The Empire of Darkness was the headquarters of the evil ways. Of course, it had to be destroyed. Without the Empire of Darkness, the evil ways were like stray dogs with nowhere to hide. Yang Dingtian said. "First of all, who is our main enemy?" "Of course it's the evil ways. It's the Temple of Annihilation," many people said. Yang Dingtian said. "Yes, of course it's the Temple of Annihilation. To be more specific, our enemies are the Demon King Wentian, Queen Devil Queen, Prince Li Ming, Princess Mudan, and the evil spirit Dishibian. To be more precise, it's all the evil ways above the half-saint level. As long as these people gather together, we can't kill or capture them. Even if they leave the Empire of Darkness, we can't do anything. The only ones we can capture and imprison in the energy prison are the evil ways below the half-saint level. But these people are no threat to us now because they are hiding in the Empire of Darkness." Qin Wancho said. "That's right. Our weakness now is the entire Council of Light's mid-level and high-level martial artists. They can be hunted down by the evil ways at any time. Evil ways' weakness is the evil spirit warriors below the half-saint level. As long as they appear, we can capture them at any time. And if we destroy the Empire of Darkness, it won't have much impact on the higher-ups of the evil ways. Even if we capture all the half-saint evil spirit warriors, they will only lose their claws and teeth. Instead, they won't have any weaknesses." "Yes," Yang Dingtian said. "Or to be more direct, as long as the Demon King Wentian, Queen Devil Queen are still around, destroying the Empire of Darkness is not worth the loss. Moreover, the Empire of Darkness is almost no threat to us now. The Legion of Doom is finished, and so is the Undead Army. The Empire of Darkness no longer has any offensive attributes. It's just a nest." As soon as he said this, everyone present fell into silence. In the end, Yang Dingtian said, "So, I feel that keeping the Empire of Darkness is more useful than destroying it." Many people present nodded in agreement after thinking it through. Yang Dingtian said, "We have dozens of captives in the hands of the evil ways, including Zhu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, Zhao Mu, and the others. In Prince Li Ming's eyes, Zhu Hongxue is not only the Black Sky Sexia master, but also my sworn brother. So, he will probably stop attacking and propose a trade with us. This person is extremely greedy. If I'm not wrong, he will propose to use Zhu Hongxue alone in exchange for Dongli and all the evil spirit warriors' hostages." Everyone present nodded. Although this trade was very unfair, Prince Li Ming would definitely do it. Who asked Yang Dingtian to care more about his subordinates? Justice was the motto of the just, despicableness was the passport of the despicable. If Yang Dingtian did not have the ability to destroy the Empire of Darkness, then no matter how unfair this trade was, he could only grit his teeth and agree. Who asked Yang Dingtian to really care about the lives of his subordinates? Yang Dingtian said. However, we now have the ability to destroy the Empire of Darkness. So, not only do we have to let the evil ways release all the hostages, but we also have to make them hand over Vulture and Willingzi. After saying that, Yang Dingtian said to Qin Huacho, City Lord Qin, do you think this trade will succeed? Qin Huacho thought for a while and shook his head. I don't know if it will succeed. If it's the Queen Devil Queen, it definitely won't succeed. Because this person is straightforward and cares about face. If it's Prince Li Ming, this person is extremely cunning and is especially thorough about benefits, so he definitely won't do a losing deal. Yang Dingtian nodded. Moreover, destroying the Empire of Darkness was like using a nuclear weapon. The greatest power of a nuclear weapon was that it stayed on the launcher. Once it was launched, it would lose its power. On Earth, almost all nuclear weapons had no chance to be used. It was just a deterrent. At this moment, Jiao Liao came to report. Prince Li Ming has come to visit. He requests for a meeting with Sect Master Yang Dingtian. They came so quickly. Everyone present said. How many of them came? Yang Dingtian asked. 3, Jiao Liao said. Okay, then the 3 of us will go and see him, Yang Dingtian said. After a while, Yang Dingtian, Violets, and Neru, 1 half-sage, and 2 saint-level experts, flew towards the north. In the land of chaos, 1,000 miles away from Cloud Sky City, a pavilion appeared. Inside, there was a long table with 3 people sitting at it. Prince Li Ming, Queen Devil Queen, and Dishi Bian. Yang Dingtian and the other 2 landed in the pavilion and sat opposite the evil ways. I know that dozens of us have fallen into your hands. Among them are Xu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, and Zhao Mu. Yang Dingtian said directly. What do you want? Speak. Good, straightforward. Prince Li Ming clapped and laughed. What we want is to release Dongli and all the evil warriors, and give up the door to the human kingdom. As soon as he said this, Yang Dingtian and the other 2's expressions changed. Chapter 1030. Previously, Yang Dingtian had already guessed that Dongli wanted to exchange for Dongli and all the evil spirit martial artists. He didn't expect Dongli to be so greedy and even wanted to return to the human kingdom's door. He knew that Li Ming was greedy, but he did not expect him to be this greedy. After a while, Yang Dingtian could not help but laugh. Your Excellency Li Ming, is there no room for discussion? Crown Prince Li Ming laughed. It's not like you're a street vendor who haggles when buying groceries. Yang Dingtian said. All right, I have a condition too, Prince Li Ming said. Please speak. Yang Dingtian said. Release Xu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, Zhao Mu, and all the other Council of Light hostages unconditionally. Hand over Vulture and Willingzi unconditionally. Otherwise, bear the consequences. Crown Prince Li Ming was stunned when he heard this. He couldn't help but dig at his ears. Did he hear it wrong? Or was Yang Dingtian dreaming? Li Ming knew that he was asking for too much, but he would not change his words. He bet that Yang Dingtian cared a lot about the lives of his subordinates. But he did not expect that Yang Dingtian's price would be even worse than his. He actually wanted to release Xu Hongxue and the others unconditionally. Was Yang Dingtian crazy? Prince Li Ming shook his head in disappointment. Yang Dingtian, I always thought that you were a wise man. I didn't expect you to be such a fool. What's the point of this? Yang Dingtian shook his head. I'm not joking. My condition is to release Xu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, and Zhao Mu unconditionally. Also, I want you to hand over Vulture and Willingzi unconditionally. Yang Dingtian emphasized once again that it was unconditional. Prince Li Ming's eyes turned cold. Yang Dingtian, there is a price for treating me like a fool. I know. Yang Dingtian said. There is a price for everything. Prince Li Ming said. You want me to hand over the hostages, Vulture and Willingzi. What are you willing to pay? Yang Dingtian said. Let the terrifying consequences of evil ways not happen. This is what I'm willing to pay. Ha 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 ha. Crown Prince Li Ming laughed loudly. You want me to suffer terrible consequences? What consequences? I want to hear it. Yang Dingtian said. Your nest is the calamity of the Darkness Empire. Ha 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 ha. Prince Li Ming couldn't hold it in anymore. He clutched his stomach and laughed crazily. Yang Dingtian, oh Yang Dingtian, do you know how powerful the Empire of Darkness is? You know that the Empire of Darkness was created by the ancient civilization. You know that the Empire of Darkness's power comes from several continents. Let alone you, even the half-sage Naga can't do anything to the Empire of Darkness. Even the half-sage Naga has a slim chance of survival after entering the Empire of Darkness, let alone a mere half-sage like you. Immediately after, Crown Prince Li Ming said, Yang Dingtian, have you been overwhelmed by the recent series of victories and become even more foolish? Then, without waiting for Yang Dingtian to reply, Prince Li Ming stood up and said, All right, since that's the case, there's nothing to talk about. I told you that there would be consequences for your foolish actions. Just wait and see. I'll think of a way to make you sober up and talk to you again. Yang Dingtian, I roughly know what you'll do. But I'll also tell you that my revenge on you will be truly destructive. Is that so? Prince Li Ming said disdainfully. I'd like to see it. Yang Dingtian, not long ago, when you were in the Empire of Darkness, I think you've already seen it. Prince Li Ming recalled the incident a few hours ago when the Empire of Darkness's power suddenly stopped. He suddenly understood. That's right. There must be a spy in the Empire of Darkness who used a very mysterious method to inform Yang Dingtian of the Skirich imperial capital's power suspension. As for Yang Dingtian, he had coveted the credit and claimed it as his own. Furthermore, he had used it to threaten the evil Dao. How laughable, how laughable, how laughable. It was clearly a problem with the Empire of Darkness's normal operating procedures, but in the end, it was forcefully said that it was caused by Yang Dingtian. Could there be anything more shameless than this? Immediately, Prince Li Ming was even more certain of Yang Dingtian's strategic blackmail. Then, he looked straight at him and said, Yang Dingtian, I'm very angry, and the consequences are very serious. You'll see it soon. Yang Dingtian, if I'm angry, the consequences will be even more serious. You'll see it soon too. Prince Li Ming didn't say anything else and directly left with the Queen Devil Queen and Dishi Bian, returning to the Empire of Darkness. After the Evil Ways trio left, Yang Dingtian used his fastest speed to head to the vortex core of the demon domain. Prince Li Ming returned to the Empire of Darkness and immediately went to Zhu Hongxue. Your sect master Yang Dingtian rejected my deal. It seems that your position in his heart isn't as high as I thought. Li Ming laughed. Zhu Hongxue closed his eyes and ignored him, as if he didn't hear it. Prince Li Ming said, In order to clear his mind, I need something to show him. Then, his gaze fell on Zhu Hongxue's two arms. Zhu Hongxue, you should be grateful to me. One of your arms was cut off, but my evil spirit energy helped you recover. Crown Prince Li Ming said. But Yang Dingtian doesn't know about this. So if I were to chop off your left arm and give it to him, he would definitely be very upset because he would think that both your arms are broken. After saying that, Shua! Prince Li Ming suddenly slashed down with his sword. Immediately, Zhu Hongxue's right arm was cut off, and blood spurted out. Zhu Hongxue's face twitched, but his eyes were still closed, and he didn't make any sound. Soon, the evil spirit energy grew new veins, new bones, and finally muscles and skin. His right arm was once again intact. Prince Li Ming shook Zhu Hongxue's broken arm and said, It's best that your sect master has a deep enough friendship with you, or else he won't recognize your arm. After cutting off Zhu Hongxue's arm, Prince Li Ming walked to the room where Zhao Mu was locked up. If Zhu Hongxue was still holding back his emotions, then Zhao Mu was truly expressionless. He sat there cross-legged like an old monk. Zhao Mu, right? Prince Li Ming said. Sorry, your role is too small. I haven't seen you before, this is the first time we've met. Zhao Mu opened his eyes. Even when he saw a broken arm, his face was almost expressionless. Prince Li Ming said, I made a deal with your sect master, intending to exchange you for Dongli, but he refused. In order to clear his mind, I need a part of your body. This is Zhu Hongshua's right arm. However, he has the evil spirit energy, so it will quickly grow back. As for you, your level is too low, giving you the evil spirit energy would be a waste, so I didn't give it to you. Zhao Mu was still expressionless. Prince Li Ming said, Do you know what it means to have no evil spirit energy? Zhao Mu said, Arms, legs, head, or other parts, after being cut off, they can never grow back. Prince Li Ming said, That's right. Zhao Mu said, Then which part of me do you want to cut off? I'll cooperate. If you want to cut off my manhood, I'll take off my belt. Prince Li Ming said, That's not necessary, just cut off the arm. If Yang Dingtian's mind is not clear, it's not too late to look at other parts. That's fine. Zhao Mu directly stretched out his right arm and said, Let's see. During the whole process, Zhao Mu's expression was completely calm, as if what was cut off was not his arm, but a pig's foot. At this time, it was Prince Li Ming's turn to twitch slightly. He was a vicious and narrow-minded person, and he just couldn't bear to see other people calm. He just wanted to see other people scared, terrified, and hateful. It was best if they screamed and cried. He didn't expect that an ant-like person like Zhao Mu could be so calm. His heart was filled with viciousness, and he said, Since you're so generous, I'll fulfill your wish and cut off your right leg. Oh, that's fine, Zhao Mu said, and walked directly to the table. He raised his right leg and put it on the table, and then folded his arm over his leg, and said, I'll save you time. Cut it off in one go, so you don't have to waste energy. Prince Li Ming was furious. His face twisted, and then he raised his sword and slashed down. At this time, suddenly, there was a loud bang in the world of darkness. Then the earth shook, and Prince Li Ming was almost sent flying. He immediately used his qi to stabilize himself on the spot. Zhao Mu's body was directly thrown out and smashed into the wall, and he spat out blood. Then, all the light in the Skirich imperial capital was completely extinguished. Then, all the light in the Empire of Darkness was extinguished. All the energy was stagnant. The Skirich imperial capital stopped rotating once again. Where did the energy of the Empire of Darkness come from? In fact, the entire Empire of Darkness was like a huge generator. The Skirich imperial capital was a huge rotating shaft, and the countless dark castles were equivalent to electromagnets. The countless dark matter was like a coil. As the Skirich imperial capital continued to rotate, there was an endless amount of energy that maintained the operation of the Empire of Darkness. However, this energy was not only lightning energy, but also many other energy attributes. Of course, these energies did not appear out of thin air. They were all converted from the basic energy of the few continents. Even the rotation of the Skirich imperial capital relied on the repulsion of the energy of the few continents. The refraction material at the core of the demon domain was indestructible and completely indestructible. Moreover, it was the best energy conductor. Therefore, it was the core of the Skirich imperial capital's rotating shaft. Once that place was destroyed, the entire Empire of Darkness would be like the most powerful machine being destroyed at its weakest point. The entire huge machine would stop operating. Seeing this scene, Prince Li Ming was shocked. Could it be that what Yang Dingtian said was true? Could it be that he was the one who did all of this? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Soon, this terrifying situation stopped, and the Skirich imperial capital resumed its rotation. The entire Empire of Darkness regained its energy supply. Prince Li Ming's back was covered in cold sweat. He had almost been blackmailed by Yang Dingtian. As expected, there was an error in the operation. Perhaps it was because the two great apocalyptic wars had overdrawn the continents too much. In any case, it was definitely not Yang Dingtian's doing. It was completely impossible for a mere half-saint like him to destroy the Empire of Darkness. Boom! At this moment, there was suddenly another loud bang. The Skirich imperial capital stopped rotating again. All the light was extinguished again. The energy of the entire Empire of Darkness was interrupted again. Before Princely Ming had time to be shocked, the Skirich imperial capital resumed its rotation, and all the energy was restored. But at this moment, Princely Ming had no time to be happy. The reason for that was because the entire sky-span imperial capital was constantly spinning and stopping. The energy of the entire Empire of Darkness was constantly being restored and interrupted. Restore, interrupt, restore, interrupt. All of a sudden. Rumble! The dark castle in the distance finally could not withstand the impact of this intermittent and powerful energy. Finally, there was a loud bang. In an instant, it exploded violently. The dark castle, which was tens of thousands of meters in diameter, exploded in the air like a city. However, this was only the beginning. Boom, 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 boom. The explosion of the first dark castle seemed to have knocked over a domino. Next, one after another, the dark castles kept exploding, exploding. And Princely Ming watched all of this with his own eyes. Then, the Skirich imperial capital also emitted a terrifying loud noise. The entire Empire of Darkness was in imminent danger. Chapter 1031. At this moment, the Castle of Darkness outside was constantly exploding. The entire Empire of Darkness was on the verge of collapse. The Skirich imperial capital was also emitting loud noises and tremors. Those who stayed inside felt as if the end of the world had arrived. Now, Princely Ming was completely certain that this was Yang Dingtian's doing. Yang Dingtian wasn't lying. He really could destroy the Empire of Darkness. Thinking of this, Princely Ming even felt a sense of suffocation. How could it be? The Empire of Darkness was so powerful that even the people of Naga had to flee. How could Yang Dingtian, a mere half-saint, destroy the Empire of Darkness? But reality had just happened. Princely Ming was really jealous. Could it be that Yang Dingtian was really the legendary son of destiny? Was he really the nemesis of evil ways? Otherwise, how could such a ridiculous thing have happened? He could actually destroy the Empire of Darkness. As if knowing that Princely Ming believed it, everything in the Empire of Darkness was completely restored. The terrifying explosions and the tremors of the Skirich imperial capital finally stopped. The entire Empire of Darkness returned to normal. However, at least dozens of dark castles had been destroyed. Princely Ming glanced at Zhao Mu. Now, cutting off Zhao Mu's arm to threaten Yang Dingtian was ridiculous. He used the Empire of Darkness to threaten him. How could he threaten him with an arm? He couldn't afford to lose face. Yang Dingtian had already played his card. It was a card that couldn't be any bigger. The biggest card in Dodiju was a bomb. Then, the card that Yang Dingtian played now was a nuclear bomb. Princely Ming thought of Yang Dingtian's conditions. Unconditionally release Zhu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, Zhao Mu, and all the other captives of the Council of Light. Of course, there was no doubt about this. It had to be released. Furthermore, the so-called Operation Viper had to be stopped. He didn't even want the other party to mention it. You go kill and capture a few of them, and Yang Dingtian will come and destroy your nest. Even if he wanted to humiliate himself, this was not the way to do it. In addition, Yang Dingtian also proposed to hand over Vulture and Wolingzi unconditionally. This was completely unacceptable. Vulture's greatest use seemed to be in the First and Second Armageddon Wars. However, the Devil Queen had said that Vulture would be of great use in the future. Even Princely Ming didn't know what this great use was. However, since it was said to be of great use, it must be very important. As for Wolingzi, he had the Netherworld Ghost Flame and a second-grade evil spirit. Of course, he had become very powerful. Moreover, because it was not a first-class evil spirit, it could not be suppressed. However, this was not a big deal. Because Wolingzi's life and death were always in the hands of the Dishibian. The key was Vulture. Yang Dingtian would definitely propose to hand her over. Regarding this, Princely Ming had no choice but to look for the Queen Devil Queen. No, Vulture can't be handed over, the Queen Devil Queen said directly. Princely Ming said, but if we don't hand it over, Yan Dingtian will threaten to destroy the entire Empire of Darkness. The Queen Devil Queen said, what happens after he destroys it? All the evil martial artists will have no protection. Everyone will completely fall out. We will kill the entire Council of Light, and Yan Dingtian will also kill us. We can ignore the lives of those evil martial artists, but does Yan Dingtian not care? As soon as these words came out, Princely Ming nodded heavily. That's right, Yan Dingtian had the ability to destroy the Empire of Darkness. But this bargaining chip could only be used to intimidate. Once the Empire of Darkness was destroyed, it would be extremely disadvantageous for the Council of Light. For the evil ways, at most, they would lose all their claws and teeth, and a few powerhouses at the half-saint level and above would become generals without an army. A few hours later, the Council of Light and the evil ways once again met in the same place. However, at this time, Princely Ming's arrogant and mocking expression had disappeared. Of course, his anger and jealousy were also gone. The moment he saw Yang Dingtian, he laughed and said, Sect Master Yang Dingtian, I really admire you. Well said, Yang Dingtian said. Princely Ming said, May I ask how you did it? Yang Dingtian said, Even if I tell you, you won't understand. Of course, you won't be able to do anything unless you tear down the entire Skirich Empire. Princely Ming said as if joking. Of course, there's another way, which is to kill or capture you. Yang Dingtian said, I'm afraid I can't do that. In front of my Naga royalty sword spirit, I'm afraid no one can stop it. Princely Ming said, Then I'm curious, how long can your Naga royalty sword spirit last? Yang Dingtian said, Anyway, it'll be a very, very long time. Princely Ming said, Okay, let's not bicker. Let's get down to business. Yang Dingtian said, Please. Princely Ming said, I'm willing to release Xu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, Zhao Mu, and all the other Council of Light prisoners. I'll also stop Operation Viper and stop hunting and capturing the Council of Light. You and I will return to our original tacit understanding. In exchange, you have to release Dongli and all the other evil spirit prisoners. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Dingtian laughed and said, Your Excellency Li Ming, are you joking? Princely Ming said, What's wrong? I think my conditions are very fair. 3 important hostages in exchange for Dongli. Then, all the light hostages in exchange for all your evil spirit hostages. I'll stop Operation Viper in exchange for you stopping your revenge on the Empire of Darkness. I'm not going to bicker with you. Yang Dingtian said, I'll state my conditions. You unconditionally release Xu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, Zhao Mu, and all the other Council of Light prisoners. You also unconditionally hand over Vulture and Willingzi. As for Operation Viper, I don't even need to say anything. Then what do you have to pay? Princely Ming asked. Yang Dingtian said, Stop your revenge on the Empire of Darkness and stop destroying the Empire of Darkness. Princely Ming's face twitched. Yang Dingtian, you're really asking for too much. Yang Dingtian said, I can't help it. Who asked me to have such a big card in my hand? Li Ming sneered and said, It's true that you have a big card in your hand, but don't forget that this is a card that can't be played. Once it's played, not only will it hurt us, but it will also hurt you. He was right. Destroying the Empire of Darkness was like a nuclear bomb. After it was used up, it would be useless. Princely Ming said, Okay, even if you destroy the entire Empire of Darkness, and we evil ways lose all our nests, so what? Can't we just occupy an island and use it as a new base? Yang Dingtian said, Now the sky, sea, and land of the entire human countries are under my control. Evil ways can't find a place to hide unless you build the Temple of Annihilation in the Underworld Empire. Yang Dingtian wasn't bragging. After evil ways lost the Empire of Darkness, no matter where they built a new base, it would definitely be destroyed in a few days. Princely Ming said, Okay, then we'll build the base in the Underworld Empire. Yang Dingtian said. Then I'll bring lightning to the Underworld Empire and destroy all the undead in the Underworld Empire. Ha ha! Princely Ming was so angry that he laughed and said, Can you do it? Yes, but the price is high and it takes a long time. Yang Dingtian said. As long as the undead and Shura of the Underworld Empire can't come out, I don't have to find trouble with them for the time being. But that doesn't mean that I can't do it. Then Yang Dingtian said, I promise that if necessary, I'll create thousands of lightning weapons and enter the Underworld Empire to completely destroy the entire Underworld plane. Princely Ming fell silent. Then he slowly said, Okay, even if you don't let us have any place to hide, then we'll completely tear off all pretenses. Thousands of us evil spirit warriors will carry out the craziest hunt against your radiant parliament. When the time comes, let's see if more of your subordinates will die, or if more of us will die. Our people have evil energy, so they won't die. At most, they'll be captured. Then, Princely Ming said with a cold face, And to say the most ruthless thing, I don't care about the life and death of those evil warriors. You're different. You're hypocritical. You care about the life and death of those people in the Council of Light. Yang Dingtian said. Well said, but I have a question. Please speak, Princely Ming said. If I destroy the Empire of Darkness, how will you explain it to the Demon King Wentian? Yang Dingtian said slowly. Suddenly, Princely Ming's face twitched. Yes, destroying the Empire of Darkness and letting the evil ways and the Council of Light fight to the death would cause the Council of Light to be at a disadvantage. But the Demon King Wentian was currently surrounded by the Chaos Emperor armor. In the future, whether he wanted to possess Yang Dingtian or leave the Chaos Emperor armor, he would need the Empire of Darkness's refining array and fusion array. And even without these, the Empire of Darkness's Throne of Darkness had always been the Demon King Wentian's greatest treasure. After hesitating and struggling for a long time, Princely Ming looked at the Devil Queen. In the end, he said slowly to Yang Dingtian, I still have the same condition. I'll stop Viper's operation and release all the hostages in exchange for the hostages in your hands. Also, I'll stop the destruction of the Empire of Darkness. It's impossible for me to do anything more. If you have the ability, destroy the Empire of Darkness. Let's fight to the death. With that, Princely Ming turned and left. This person was indeed domineering. He was determined to step on Yang Dingtian's weak spot and bite off the biggest chunk of flesh. He was betting that Yang Dingtian could not bear the consequences of destroying the Empire of Darkness. Therefore, he had to use the lowest price to exchange for the biggest chip. Princely Ming had just left. Yang Dingtian said, Violets, return to Cloud Sky City. Neru, use the Demon Spirit Mist Cloak Flash technique and go to the Empire of Darkness as soon as possible. While the Devil Queen and Li Ming have not returned to the Empire of Darkness, we will attack the Empire of Darkness and rescue Vulture and Wulingzi. As soon as he said this, Violet's expression immediately changed. She did not expect Yang Dingtian to be so decisive and attack the Empire of Darkness. Chapter 1032. Yang Dingtian was taking advantage of the time difference. This place was more than 5,000 miles away from the Empire of Darkness. It would take more than 2 hours for the Devil Queen and the other two to return to the Empire of Darkness. And it was more than 5,000 miles away from the center of the demon domain. Yang Dingtian desperately used the demonic spirit foggy cloak flash and reached the center of the demon domain in less than 2 hours. He had about an hour, so it was more or less enough to attack the Empire of Darkness and rescue the people of the Vulture and the Council of Light. But there was a prerequisite for all of this. Wulingzi was willing to cooperate. In order to protect Cloud Sky City, only Neru could enter the Empire of Darkness alone. Wulingzi was also a saint-level expert. If he did not cooperate, not only would Neru not be able to rescue them, but she would also be trapped. Yang Dingtian completely ignored the consumption of his celestial qi and desperately used the demonic spirit foggy cloak flash. He kept flashing and flying, flashing and flying. In less than 2 hours, he once again arrived at the center of the demon domain's vortex. He quickly flashed to the end of the vortex cave and once again arrived in front of the deflector. Then, he immediately used the dark mystic flame to form a black hole vortex and create an isolated space. He directly forced it into the deflector, the shaft conductor of the Skirich Imperial Capital. In an instant, rumble! The entire Skirich Imperial Capital stopped spinning once again. All the energy arrays had lost their effectiveness. All the light was extinguished. All the evil spirit martial artists were once again in a state of panic. Mu Dan, the temporary controller of the Throne of Darkness, suddenly lost all her power. The Skirich Imperial Capital could no longer launch any attacks. Originally, Wu Lingzi had been trapped within the energy prison. But at this moment, the shackles were released. This was already many times, but he did not leave because he did not know that the Queen Devil Queen and Dishi Bian had already left. He did not even dare to imagine that this was an attack by Yang Dingtian. He also thought that this was a normal malfunction of the Empire of Darkness's Skirich Imperial Capital. Princess Mu Dan, even on the Throne of Darkness, was still staring at Vulture. At this moment, Vulture's mystic meridians were completely sealed. Under the Throne of Darkness, Princess Mu Dan could kill her at any time. The entire Skirich Palace suddenly dimmed. Princess Mu Dan's pupils constricted, and she was immediately filled with vigilance. "You seem very nervous," Spirit Vulture said with a smile. Princess Mu Dan ignored him. Spiritual Vulture said, "If I'm not mistaken, this should be our husband attacking the Darkness Empire. Use mystic flame, 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 mystic meridians, flame, mystic flame, 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 mystic." Princess Peony said coldly. "I know what you are thinking, but don't think that he will come and save you. If anyone rushes into the Celestial Palace, I will kill them immediately. You won't have a chance." Vulture's heart trembled, but she still sneered, unwilling to admit defeat. All the evil martial artists instantly fell into a panic, waiting for the Skirich Imperial Capital to recover once again. Actually, none of the evil spirit martial artists knew what was going on. Most of them thought that this was a malfunction of the Empire of Darkness. A small number of them thought that this was Yang Dingtian's counterattack. However, in their hearts, the former reason was more terrifying. Because if it was a malfunction of the Empire of Darkness, evil ways would be completely helpless. At this moment, Nero had already taken the eye of the primeval Naga and rode on Yang Dingtian's soul sword to melt the dark matter and fly into the Empire of Darkness. Even the thinnest part of the dark matter was more than a few thousand miles thick. It would be too late to directly lift the eye with one's hand. And the speed of Yang Dingtian's soul sword was extremely fast. Not long after, the soul sword carried Nero through a few thousand miles of dark matter and directly rushed into the Empire of Darkness. At this moment, the Empire of Darkness was completely dark, and all the energy had stopped. If it was before, any intruder would be discovered immediately if they entered the Empire of Darkness. But now, a soul sword and a saint-level expert had entered the Empire of Darkness without anyone noticing. And Nero discovered that after the Skirich Imperial Capital stopped spinning, the dark matter had already begun to spread and become thicker. To think that things would turn out like this. If the Skirich Imperial Capital were to completely stop moving, the dark matter would probably completely engulf the entire space of the Darkness Empire. However, there was no time to think too much. Nero followed the blueprint of the Skirich Imperial Capital structure and controlled the soul sword to fly toward the Skirich Imperial Capital's Skirich Palace. The soul sword was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it arrived at the Skirich Palace. Nero immediately left the soul sword, and Yang Dingtian immediately removed the isolated space inside the folding object. Instantly, the entire Skirich Imperial Capital regained its energy. The Skirich Palace, which had been dark for nearly 15 minutes, suddenly lit up again. Princess Mu Dan immediately felt relieved. She immediately wanted to enter the Skirich Imperial Capital's energy field to monitor and control the entire Empire of Darkness. But then, Yang Dingtian once again forced the isolated space into the folding object. Boom! There was a loud bang. Instantly, the Skirich imperial capital stopped spinning again. Princess Mudan was furious. Then, a terrifying scene appeared once again. The Skirich imperial capital spun intermittently, and then stopped for an instant. The entire Empire of Darkness couldn't withstand such a buffer of energy. Many dark castles were once again shattered and began to explode. And the Skirich imperial capital let out a terrifying sound as if it would burst open at any moment. And at this moment, whoosh 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 whoosh, 10,000 swords return. Thousands of miles away, Yang Dingtian used his consciousness to directly unleash the 10,000 swords return and shot towards the evil spirit figure in the Skirich palace. He was very grateful for the special aura of the evil spirit energy. Otherwise, Yang Dingtian wouldn't have been able to identify who Princess Mudan was based on the soul's sword. It was even faster than lightning. From the moment the sword's soul attacked to the moment it directly pierced into Princess Mudan's body, it took less than 0.01 seconds. And Princess Mudan, who was being tortured intermittently by the Skirich imperial capital, was completely defenseless. The saint-level Naga royalty sword soul directly shattered her body. Even though Princess Mudan's body belonged to Dongfang Bingling and was Yang Dingtian's lover. But at this moment, Yang Dingtian had no other choice. As Princess Peony's body was crushed, lightning flew into the Skirich imperial capital. She used her fastest speed to snatch Vulture out of the Skirich imperial capital. As for the shattered Vulture, the evil spirit energy in her body instinctively healed her body. She didn't have time to kill Vulture. After Nera rescued Vulture, she didn't stop and flew out of the Skirich imperial capital as fast as she could. After flying out of the Skirich palace, Vulture said excitedly, Were you sent by my husband?" "Yes," Nera said. Vulture was overjoyed. Then it shouted, "Daddy, Daddy!" Willingzi heard Vulture's voice from the energy prison and immediately rushed out of the Skirich imperial capital. Nera said, "Do you know where the captured Zhu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, Zhao Mu, and the others are being held?" Vulture and Willingzi shook their heads. Vulture said, "However, the Skirich imperial capital has lost all its energy. All the energy is in the energy prison. If we shout, Zhu Hongxue and the others will take the initiative to respond." Immediately, Nera shouted, "Zhu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, Zhao Mu, and all the martial artists of the Council of Light, where are you? Please speak!" Although Nera's voice sounded elegant and moving, it could penetrate thousands of miles. Obviously, all the captives of the Council of Light would hear it. However, it was a pity that there was no response. Obviously, besides the energy prison, there was also a physical prison. Moreover, everyone's mystic meridians were sealed, so they couldn't respond. Right at this time, Princess Peony's voice suddenly resounded in every place. "All evil spirit warriors, go and kill the captives of the Council of Light." With that, she took the lead and flew toward a certain place. The thousands of evil spirit martial artists were like shooting stars as they flew towards a certain direction. Willingzi rushed forward and instantly blocked in front of Princess Mudan and the thousands of evil spirit warriors. "Willingzi, are you courting death? You have to know that your life and death are in our hands," Princess Mudan said coldly. "So what?" Willingzi said. "As long as my life and death are not in your hands now, it's fine. Attack!" Princess Mudan ordered. Immediately, thousands of evil spirit warriors flew toward Willingzi. Whoosh 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 whoosh. In an instant, Willingzi quickly made clones. It became 2, it became 4, it became 8, it became many. Then, he crazily killed the evil spirit warriors. Even though he had many clones, none of the evil spirit warriors were his match. Everyone was smashed into pieces and turned into evil spirit energy. 10,000 swords return. Yan Dingtian's countless Naga royalty soul swords shot out. In an instant, it was as if the autumn wind had swept up fallen leaves. Countless evil spirit warriors were instantly smashed into pieces. Then, the near-emperor grade soul swords flew directly to a huge door in the Skirich imperial capital. Swish 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 swish. The soul swords crazily slashed at the thick door. What the hell was this Skirich imperial capital made of? It was actually so sturdy. Thousands of swords slashed out like lightning, but they were unable to penetrate this huge door. Nera quickly rushed forward and suddenly blasted out a ball of astonishing flame. Under the efforts of a saint-level expert and a near-emperor-grade soul sword. Finally, a huge hole was cut open in the thick door of the Skirich imperial capital. Nera quickly entered the huge hole. Inside there were indeed a few prison rooms. Shu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, Zhao Mu, and the others were imprisoned. However, all the captives' mystic meridians were suppressed. They were completely unable to move or make a sound. Nera was immediately worried. How was she going to bring these dozens of captives out of the Empire of Darkness? At this moment, the Devil Queen, Prince Li Ming, and the others were about to rush to the Empire of Darkness. Suddenly, Prince Li Ming's expression changed as he said in shock, "Not good, not good. Yang Dingtian will attack the Empire of Darkness." The Devil Queen's expression changed abruptly. She immediately summoned her Wan Soul Sword and shot out. Chapter 1033. Shu Hongxue, Chou Yiming, Zhao Mu, and the rest had their mystic meridians locked and were unable to move at all. Nera's cultivation was enough to unlock their mystic meridians, but it would take time. At this moment, Vulture closed her beautiful eyes and waved her hand. Instantly, dozens of dark evil dragons flew over like lightning. At this moment, the Skirich imperial capital had stopped moving, and the entire Empire of Darkness was out of control. Therefore, Vulture, who had the talent of a celestial spiritualist, became the highest commander of these dark evil dragons. If it were the dark evil dragons from before, they would all be assigned to different evil martial artists. However, most of these dark evil dragons were newly created, and only those on the throne of darkness could directly command them. The dozens of dark evil dragons easily carried the Council of Light hostages and flew out of the Empire of Darkness. Meanwhile, Wulingzi and Yang Dingtian's Naga royalty sword soul alone blocked thousands of evil martial artists. After Vulture controlled the dark evil dragons to fly a few hundred miles away, Neri used her mystic chi to forcefully break through the mystic chi shackles on Vulture's body. Then, the two of them flew out together with the dark evil dragons. Meanwhile, Yang Dingtian's Emperor-grade soul sword changed its direction with Nera's help and flew toward the edge of the Empire of Darkness. The saint-level powerhouse Wulingzi retreated while fighting and followed closely behind. Soon, the escaping team led by Neru arrived in front of the dark matter. The soul sword absorbed the primeval Naga's eye gem and melted the dark matter. The dozens of dark evil dragons followed closely behind with the Council of Light hostages. Neru and Vulture followed behind the dark evil dragons, and Wulingzi brought up the rear. Their movements were extremely fast. The group directly entered the dark matter and disappeared from the Empire of Darkness, disappearing from the sight of all the evil martial artists. As for Princess Mudan and the several thousand evil spirit warriors, they could only watch as this group of people escaped. This was because the dark material plane would soon close. Without the Devil Queen, they would not be able to enter the dark material plane. The most terrifying thing was that after the Skirich Emperor's capital stopped spinning, the dark matter continued to spread. In other words, if the Skirich imperial capital continued to spin like this, the entire Empire of Darkness would be devoured by the dark matter. At that time, all the evil spirit warriors would have no place to stay. After entering the dark matter layer, Yang Dingtian controlled the soul sword and led the way. Furthermore, they were not walking in a straight line. Instead, they were taking 7 or 8 turns. This was because the Devil Queen and Prince Li Ming might catch up to them soon, and the direction in which Nera left was seen by Mu Dan and the others. If they walked in a straight line, they might catch up. Trying to catch up to him in this vast expanse of dark matter was no different from looking for a needle in a haystack. Sure enough, not long after. The Devil Queen had not arrived yet, but her soul sword magic staff had. This was because the speed of the soul sword was extremely fast. After entering the Empire of Darkness, the Queen Devil Queen's soul sword could not find a non-elven evil spirit warrior, so it could not attack. Thus, she could only resentfully summon the soul sword. Following that, the Devil Queen's soul sword magic staff flew out of the Empire of Darkness once again. Passing through the thick dark matter, it arrived beside the Queen Devil Queen. The Devil Queen picked up the soul sword and saw a few words written on it. This was what Mu Dan had left on the soul sword to inform the Devil Queen. Vulture Willingzi, all the hostages of the Council of Light have escaped from the Empire of Darkness. There is a saint-level expert among them. Seeing these words, the Queen Devil Queen almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This is too much, too much. And Prince Li Ming's heart also twitched. He was just worried that something like this would happen, but he did not expect it to really happen. Yang Dingtian really dared to take the risk, he really dared to do this. Following that, the Queen Devil Queen was about to enter the Empire of Darkness. No, it's too late to enter the Empire of Darkness now, Prince Li Ming said. Once they get into the dark matter, it will be like looking for a needle in a haystack. It will be impossible to catch up. Therefore, the only way now is to guess where Yang Dingtian will get Vulture, Willingzi, and the others to come out of the ground, and then intercept them there. However, the entire continent corresponding to the dark matter was tens of thousands of miles long. Guessing where Vulture and the others would come out of the ground was completely tantamount to looking for a needle in a haystack. Prince Li Ming said, Of course, there's another way. Yang Dingtian is attacking the Empire of Darkness, so he must have sent 2 saint-level experts. Therefore, Cloud Sky City must be very empty now. Dong Feng Minmi, Qin Wan Chou, Yun Jianu, Song Chunhua, and the others must be there. If they go back now, they might be able to get more important hostages, and Yang Dingtian will suffer a greater loss. Queen Devil Queen said, Is it possible that this group of people is no longer in Cloud Sky City? Prince Li Ming nodded. This possibility was very, very high. When Yang Dingtian attacked the Empire of Darkness, he must have thought of the danger in Cloud Sky City. Furthermore, as long as all the important people in Cloud Sky City were all in the sea, they would be protected by the ancient beasts of the Mermaid Empire. Evil ways would not be able to do anything to them. Suddenly, Dishibian said, I know where Vulture and the others are. When he said this, Li Ming was overjoyed. He had almost forgotten that Willingzi's life was completely in Dishibian's hands. Ghost Emperor Wentian had left a special mark on Willingzi's body. Prince Li Ming sneered. If that was the case, not only would they be able to stop Willingzi from Vulture, but they would also be able to capture all the saint-level experts sent by Yang Dingtian. Immediately, under Dishibian's lead, the 3 of them quickly flew towards the first place. How far are those fugitives from Vulture from us? Prince Li Ming asked. 4,300 miles. At this moment, they are already under the demon's domain, Dishibian said. Suddenly, Prince Li Ming said, Devil Queen, you said that Yang Dingtian destroyed the Empire of Darkness. Is he inside or outside the Empire of Darkness? The Devil Queen was stunned for a moment, and then she said, It should be outside. This was because when the Skirich Imperial capital was operating normally, anyone who entered the Empire of Darkness would be detected. Prince Li Ming said, If he is outside the Empire of Darkness, then Vulture and the others are now in the dark matter, and Yang Dingtian is on the ground. Moreover, he only has 1 person with him, and even the soul sword is not with him. Does that mean that we can capture him? As soon as these words came out, Devil Queen's eyes lit up. If they could capture Yang Dingtian, not to mention 1 vulture, even if 10 vultures escaped, it would not matter. Yang Dingtian was the one who was truly priceless. He was the key to the Demon King's breakthrough to demigod, or even higher. Devil Queen said. Then, where do you think Yang Dingtian will be? Prince Li Ming said. I think he should be in the demon's domain, because Vulture and the others are flying towards the demon's domain. They will definitely choose a central point to meet up. Immediately, Devil Queen and the others quickly flew in the direction of the demon's domain. Prince Li Ming's intelligence and cunning were indeed impressive. Even when he was faced with the worst news, his mind was spinning quickly, looking for the best opportunity. Indeed, 2,000 miles away from the center of the demon's domain, Nero broke out of the ground with Vulture and the others. As for Yang Dingtian, he was already waiting there. After rushing out of the ground, Vulture saw Yang Dingtian at first glance, and then jumped into his arms. Unable to hold back the joy in her heart, she kissed Yang Dingtian's lips. Finally, she escaped from that terrifying demon's den and returned to Yang Dingtian's side. At this moment, she was really filled with a sense of security. After the kiss, she snuggled into Yang Dingtian's arms, smelling his scent. She really felt that she had never been happier than at this moment. Yang Dingtian hugged Vulture's seductive body, then nodded at Willingzi, and then gently kissed Vulture's head. "Let's go, maybe the Devil Queen and the others will catch up," Yang Dingtian said. Then Yang Dingtian led everyone to fly north. Suddenly Vulture said, "Husband, the north of here is the boundless demon's domain, we can't get out." "I know," Yang Dingtian said. "That's why I'm going in this direction. Because the Devil Queen must have caught up, she knows where we are." Vulture was puzzled, and then her expression changed dramatically. Soon, she also knew that the Devil Queen did know where they were. Because Willingzi was also there. Soon, Willingzi also thought of this point. Ghost Emperor Wentian must have left some imprint on him, so Dishi Bian must know that he was here. Suddenly, Willingzi gritted his teeth and was about to fly in another direction. He wanted to lead the Devil Queen and Dishi Bian away. Unexpectedly, Yang Dingtian immediately appeared in front of him and said, "Senior, come with me. No, if I follow you, I will implicate you. Once Dishi Bian arrives, I will completely lose my ability to fight, then you will only have one saint-level expert, and won't be their match. Everyone will suffer, including you," Willingzi said. Yang Dingtian said, "Time is of the essence. I don't have time to explain. I can only say that I won't give up on anyone, believe me." Then, Yang Dingtian firmly grabbed Willingzi and continued to fly north. At this time, the Devil Queen, Prince Li Ming, and Dishi Bian were catching up faster and faster. If it was only Yang Dingtian, of course Nero would be incomparably fast. However, she was also carrying dozens of dark dragons, so her speed was inferior to that of the Devil Queen and Li Ming. The distance between the two sides was getting closer and closer. From 4,000 miles, to 3,000 miles, to 2,000 miles, to less than 1,000 miles. In fact, the Devil Queen could already see Yang Dingtian and the others. Prince Li Ming said, "Yang Dingtian only has one saint-level expert by his side. Willingzi has lost his ability to fight, then can we capture Yang Dingtian?" The Devil Queen said, "My soul sword against Yang Dingtian's soul sword. Yang Dingtian still has dozens of burdens, we will definitely win this battle. Who knows, maybe we can really capture Yang Dingtian." Prince Li Ming sneered and said, "Yang Dingtian is really too smart, this time even he will be defeated." Then, the three of them madly chased after him. Chapter 1034. The Devil Queen and the other two were getting closer and closer. In fact, Yang Dingtian could already see the three black dots. Yang Dingtian led everyone to the north, and north. Finally, they reached the end of the demon domain. The scene here had already begun to repeat, and there was already a vast void in front of them. Yang Dingtian used the fastest speed to create a dark vortex with the dark mystic flame. The dark vortex rotated into a black hole, creating an isolated space. Then, the mystic flame slammed into it. A beautiful spatial portal appeared. "Vulture, you lead the people of the Council of Light and leave first," Yang Dingtian said loudly. "Yes, husband," Vulture said. Then, she controlled the dark evil dragons to shrink their wings and rush into the spatial portal one by one. Suddenly, the dark evil dragons and their hostages of the Council of Light disappeared into the air. Seeing this scene, Vulture and the others were stunned. Although they already knew that there was a spatial technique, when they really saw it, it still made their hair stand on end. Vulture was suddenly filled with admiration for Yang Dingtian. The demon king and the undead concubine behind them were getting faster and faster, and the distance was less than 200 miles. Whoosh! Suddenly, a green bolt of lightning whizzed over. This was the soul sword magic staff of the Devil Queen. This soul sword had been successfully cultivated for hundreds of years, and its power was completely unquestionable. Whoosh! Yang Dingtian used his mystic chi to maintain the spatial portal while controlling the near-emperor-grade soul sword with his consciousness, and suddenly shot out. 10,000 swords returned to origin. In an instant, the Naga royalty sword soul and the Devil Queen's soul sword fought fiercely. All of a sudden, the Devil Queen's dead concubine's saint-level soul sword was completely suppressed. However, that was all. After all, the opponent was only a soul sword, and they were both sword souls fighting each other. It was almost impossible to destroy the other party's soul sword. Yang Dingtian's Naga royalty soul sword was extremely powerful, and could instantly kill all of the Legion of Doom. However, that was only because their energies countered each other. Its energy was only at the saint level. After all, the source of its energy was a demon nucleus of the ancient Naga, not the Naga itself. It blocked the Devil Queen's soul sword magic staff. About 2 to 3 minutes later, the dozens of dark owl dragons finally charged through the dimensional portal. Vulture reluctantly looked at Yang Dingtian, then rushed through the spatial door and entered the torn space. Yang Dingtian quickly pulled out Dongli from his spatial ring and threw him through the spatial gate. Then, he said to Neru, "Quickly enter my spatial ring." Neru jumped, and Yang Dingtian opened the isolated space inside his spatial ring. In an instant, Neru disappeared into the air and entered Yang Dingtian's spatial ring. At this time, the Devil Queen and the other two were only a few dozen miles away. Yang Dingtian said to Wilingzi, "Senior, quickly enter my spatial ring." Yang Dingtian's spatial ring was only about 1 cubic meter, and it was a little difficult for two people to squeeze in. Moreover, Neru was a woman, and it wasn't good for her to squeeze in with a man. However, the situation was urgent, and he couldn't care so much. "Want to leave? It's too late." The Devil Queen sneered. "Yang Dingtian, you're going to fall into my hands today." The three of them appeared in front of him in an instant, as if they had flashed. Wilingzi suddenly turned around and said, "Yang Dingtian, I won't go over. It's useless for me to go with you. Everything I have is in the hands of others. Take good care of Vulture." After saying that, Wilingzi suddenly turned into a ray of light, and rushed toward the Devil Queen and the other two with incomparable determination and ferocity. "Senior, don't!" Yang Dingtian roared. Wilingzi wanted to die together with the Devil Queen and the other two, but he couldn't do it. After approaching a distance, Dishi Bian opened her hand, and her beautiful eyes suddenly changed color. In an instant, Wilingzi's whole body trembled violently, and he couldn't move or attack. At the same time, the Devil Queen and Prince Li Ming, full of complacent sneers, rushed toward Yang Dingtian. Whoosh! Yang Dingtian flashed. In an instant, his soul sword and person jumped into the space door together and disappeared into the air. The Devil Queen was furious and rushed directly into the space door. However, it was a pity. Her cultivation was at the saint level, which exceeded the maximum load of the space door, and she was directly bounced back. Li Ming, on the other hand, could have jumped over. However, if he jumped over alone, that was completely courting death. After just a moment, the beautiful space door trembled violently and then disappeared into the air. Ah! The Devil Queen was mad and furious. She desperately bombarded everything around her to vent her anger. Just a little bit more, and she could have caught Yang Dingtian. As long as she caught Yang Dingtian, everything would be settled. Just a little bit more. She really hated it now. Previously, when Yang Dingtian was very weak, why didn't she directly catch him? She didn't think that when Yang Dingtian was very weak, the only precious thing on him was the greater space technique, which couldn't be forced. Now, the reason why she desperately wanted to catch Yang Dingtian was because the Naga Dugu Shuang had appeared. The demon king Wentian wanted to seize Yang Dingtian's body and share Naga's demigod talent. Before this, who knew that Yang Dingtian had a real Naga? Prince Li Ming, on the side, was completely jealous to the point of vomiting blood. The greater space technique, the greater space technique. The dream of the entire evil ways, the crown of the entire chaos world's martial arts civilization. The demon king Wentian couldn't get it, and even the demigod Naga couldn't get it. What did Yang Dingtian do to get the greater space technique? And it was this greater space technique that made them watch Yang Dingtian disappear in front of their eyes, unable to do anything. The furious devil queen, dead concubine, suddenly rushed in front of Wu Lingzi. Swish, 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 swish. The sharp sword in her hand slashed wildly. In an instant, Wu Lingzi was directly chopped into meat paste. The evil spirit energy resurrected Wu Lingzi again and again. Then, the devil queen's dead concubine killed her again and again. Prince Li Ming looked at Wu Lingzi and said slowly, Wu Lingzi, your evil spirit energy was given to you by us. Your saint-level cultivation was also given to you by us. Why did you betray us? Wu Lingzi didn't say a word. Prince Li Ming said, Aren't you the most afraid of death? Why aren't you afraid of death now? You know, it's easy for us to kill you. Wu Lingzi said slowly. That's right. I'm so greedy for life and afraid of death. But it was you who made me realize that death is not so painful. And you don't know me as well as Yang Dingtian. Every time, Yang Dingtian would leave me a way out, so that I wouldn't do anything desperate. And you, every time, left me with no way out and forced me into a desperate situation. Prince Li Ming said. Yang Dingtian destroyed your vulture palace and made you like a stray dog. Is that leaving you a way out? Before he destroyed the vulture palace, he didn't tell me. He just did it directly. By the time I reacted, the vulture palace had already been destroyed and became an unchangeable fact. Then, letting me live became a way out. Wu Lingzi said. And you, every time, threatened to kill me, cut me into pieces, and humiliate my daughter. Every time, you imprisoned me in the energy prison, making me feel that it was no different from death. So Li Ming, although you are very smart, your grasp of propriety is not as good as Yang Dingtian. Prince Li Ming's face twitched. Devil Queen said coldly. We will go to Cloud Sky City and start a massacre. Even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground, we will capture Dong Fang Minmi and the others. Prince Li Ming shook his head and said, There's no chance. That mysterious saint-level expert and Yang Dingtian's soul sword will soon come out of the spatial tear and return to Cloud Sky City. If we go, we will just kill for a while. It's meaningless. Then, Prince Li Ming said to Dishi Bian, Is there any way to control Wu Lingzi's will and make him fight for us? Dishi Bian shook his head and said, Unless we replace him with a first-class evil spirit and then suppress his will. At this point, Prince Li Ming sighed again. If Dongli was still here, he could strip his first-class evil spirit and plant it in Wu Lingzi's body. Anyway, there was no difference whether Dongli had a first-class evil spirit or a second-class evil spirit now. His only use was the void-splitting fire. But Dongli was in Yang Dingtian's hands. Of course, there were still 2 first-class evil spirits. One was Dishi Bian, and the other was Princess Mu Dan. Strip Dishi Bian of his first-class evil spirit? Then Dishi Bian would immediately turn hostile and kill the evil ways. Strip Princess Mu Dan of her first-class evil spirit? Princess Mu Dan would immediately become Dong Fang Bingling. He couldn't bear to do it. Your Majesty Devil Queen, is there a way to strip Wu Yuming of her first-class evil spirit and plant it in Wu Lingzi's body? Prince Li Ming asked. Queen Devil Queen shook her head and said, Wu Yuming's first-class evil spirit is controlled by His Majesty Demon King's half of the evil spirit tree. Moreover, its evil spirit has been entangled with the dark matter. It can be considered destroyed. Prince Li Ming closed his eyes in pain. This time, he took control of the evil ways, but the result was not much better than Queen Devil Queen. Queen Devil Queen lost 2 world destruction battles, and he, Prince Li Ming, launched Operation Viper. After only a few days of prestige, he suffered a fatal blow. Not only were all the captured captives rescued, but even the celestial spiritualist vulture was lost. Moreover, if Operation Viper hadn't been launched, Yang Dingtian might not have been able to find a way to destroy the Empire of Darkness. He, the Crown Prince Li Ming, had truly suffered a double loss. Suddenly, Prince Li Ming could no longer bear the pain and tumbling in his chest and abdomen, and directly spurted out a mouthful of blood. Devil Queen vomited blood after losing 2 world destruction battles. He, Prince Li Ming, was not much better. After a big defeat, he directly vomited blood. Devil Queen said, "What should we do next? Should we continue Operation Viper, kill more Council of Light martial artists, and capture more hostages?" Prince Li Ming shook his head and said, "It's meaningless. Yang Dingtian will take revenge on the Empire of Darkness." Devil Queen said, "Yang Dingtian doesn't dare to destroy the Empire of Darkness. That would be a life and death struggle, and he would suffer countless casualties." Prince Li Ming shook his head and said, "He doesn't need to destroy the Empire of Darkness. As long as all the dark castles, all the refining arrays, and the fusion arrays are destroyed, it will be a loss we can't bear." Devil Queen fell silent. "That's right, all the dark castles were destroyed because the Empire of Darkness couldn't bear it." Devil Queen even complained in her heart that her side was so passive, and it was all because of the Demon King Wentian. Just like that, he left without a care, leaving the entire evil Tao to him. If he was still here, with his heaven-defying strength, things wouldn't have developed to this point. However, not to mention the Demon King Wentian, even she, Devil Queen, didn't think that they would lose before the Apocalypse War began. Even if you used your toes to think, it was impossible to lose. In the end, they lost both Apocalypse Wars, especially the last one, when 100 million undead entered the human countries. What a huge investment. In the end, they lost even more cowardly, and didn't even make a splash. She really didn't know where the Demon King Wentian went. When would he come back? "If the Demon King keeps coming back, what should we do?" Devil Queen asked. Prince Li Ming said, "There's no other way. We can only fight for the gate of the human countries." Yang Dingtian's side had 3 saint-level powerhouses and a saint-level sword soul. It was impossible to fight for the gate of the human countries by force. It was even more impossible to threaten with hostages. Li Ming said slowly, "Use the most direct method, use force, to fight for the gate of the human countries." Devil Queen was startled, but she didn't say anything. Crown Prince Li Ming's gaze turned resolute as he said, "Regardless of the price, I have to surpass Yang Dingtian in terms of martial Dao strength. I have to seize back the door to the human kingdom, and open up the Little Western Paradise. Only by opening the Little Western Paradise can we instantly reverse the situation, completely suppress Yang Dingtian, and catch them all in one fell swoop." In the Little Western Paradise, there were many saint-level powerhouses, and even more half-step saint-level powerhouses. It had been many years since Yongshi Wentian became the chairman again. Now, with his methods, his control of the Little Western Paradise had reached a certain extent. If Yongshi Wentian could obtain the martial strength of the Little Western Paradise, he could indeed suppress Yang Dingtian in martial strength. In the ruins of the old Naga Empire, Queen Poisa was getting more and more anxious. Because the upheaval of the 3 force fields around her was getting closer and closer. Under the pressure of the 3 force fields, everything was turned into ashes. Everything within 100 miles, whether it was the abyss, the mountains, the pyramid, or the solid crystal ground. Under the pressure of the invisible force fields, everything was instantly crushed and turned into ashes. The pyramid under her was getting closer and closer, closer and closer. At this moment, it was finally in front of her. Poisa could clearly see that everything less than 3 miles away from her had been crushed. Boom! Finally, the edge of the pyramid began to shatter. At this moment, the gate of the pyramid was still closed. Queen Poisa closed her beautiful eyes in pain, waiting for the arrival of her body being crushed. At this moment, a miserable cry of Naga suddenly came from the pyramid. Then, there was the sound of frantic slapping on the ground. The transformation of the Naga Dugushwang had entered the final stage. As long as it was completed, she would completely regain her consciousness and human form. But she had to race against time. Chapter 1035. The three force fields were getting closer and closer, stronger and stronger. Queen Poisa watched helplessly as this incomparably powerful pyramid was directly reduced to ashes instead of being smashed into pieces. These incomparably sturdy crystals just turned into nothingness in the air and disappeared without a trace. At this time, the loud noises and vibrations in the pyramid were incessant. Even Poisa, who was outside, could clearly hear the powerful collision inside. If Hai Xian were here, she would definitely run away. If it were someone else with a strong will, they would definitely rush into the pyramid and desperately take the Naga Shuang away. However, Queen Poisa had always been lazy and believed in fate. Therefore, she did nothing and just stood there like this. If God wanted her to die, if God wanted Naga Shuang to die, then they would die together. If God wanted Naga Shuang to live, then there would be a miracle in the end. Bang, bang, bang! The energy of the three force fields surged. Queen Poisa watched helplessly as the surrounding pyramids all disappeared from her sight and became wrapped in energy, growing larger and larger. This destruction was getting closer and closer to her. 100 meters, 50 meters, 30 meters, 10 meters, soon, it was in front of her. Suddenly, ow! A sharp cry suddenly came from inside the pyramid. Boom! Then, a huge hole was suddenly blasted in the center of the pyramid, and a golden light shot out. Then, Queen Poisa felt her body fly up like lightning. A stunningly beautiful golden-haired woman, carrying the Venomusa Queen, flew hundreds of kilometers away like a bolt of lightning. At the same time, the three force fields violently collided. In an instant, the pyramid below was instantly reduced to ashes. At the same time, a huge crack of hundreds of miles was instantly torn open in the ruins of the old Naga Empire. However, the entire irregular structure, because of this release of energy, finally returned to a relatively stable state. Of course, if this continued, the entire irregular structure of the ruins would be completely destroyed. Because this kind of energy, this kind of instability would continue until the day it self-destructed. Queen Poisa looked at the beautiful woman who was as beautiful as the sun in the sky. This was Dugushwanger, the Naga Dugushwanger who had completely transformed. Really, really beautiful. This kind of beauty surpassed that of the Queen Devil Queen and the Mermaid Queen. Without a doubt, she had directly occupied the top of the pyramid of beauties in this world and had unquestionably become the number one beauty in the world. Perhaps there was someone who could stand on the same level as her, and that would be Queen Medusa of Naga. But now, whether it was Poisa, the Devil Queen, or anyone else, they had to succumb to the beauty of their beloved Naga Dugushwang. Although Poisa had given birth to her, she had never treated Naga as her own daughter. Of course, Naga would never treat Poisa as her mother. The two of them were completely silent. After a long time, Naga Shuang said, "How are we going to return to the human countries? My husband needs me very much." Queen Poisa said, "There is an energy passage that directly connects the ancient Sea Serpent Empire and the Naga Empire. The crystal ball that opens the passage to come is in the palace of the Sea Serpent Empire. The crystal ball that opens the passage to return should also be in the palace of the Naga Empire." Naga Shuang nodded and said, "Then let's go find it." "Okay," Queen Poisa said. Then, Naga Shuang let go of Queen Poisa, and the two of them quickly rushed down the irregular structure of the old Naga Empire ruins to find the crystal ball that opened the energy passage back to the Sea Serpent Empire. The scene returned to when Yang Dingtian led everyone into the torn space. After Dongli was pulled out of the space ring, he was still groggy. Then, he was thrown through the space door and into the torn space. Then, he woke up. He found that Yang Dingtian was not around, only a group of dark dragons. Suddenly, he had no time to think. His first instinct was to run away frantically. At this time, Vulture jumped into the torn space. Dongli, where do you think you're going? Vulture said angrily, and then chased after him like lightning. At this time, Dongli's cultivation was not as good as Vulture's. In the blink of an eye, it had caught up. Before he could say anything, the fatal pain happened again. That was because Spirit Vulture's leather boots had kicked him in his weakest spot. Bang! The fatal, hellish, nightmarish pain came again. Dongli's whole body curled up. His eggs were broken again. Soon, under the energy of the evil spirit, the broken eggs were restored again. Then, the Spirit Vulture kicked him again. Ah! There was an earth-shattering scream, and the hellish pain. His eggs were broken again. At this time, Dongli really regretted it. If he had known, he would have been better off being a eunuch. He would not have had to let the evil spirit help him completely restore his manhood. Otherwise, he would not have had to suffer such terrible pain. The pain of having his eggs broken 100 times was really more terrible than death. Moreover, he completely believed that his thing would not be used in the future. Of course, it was not because it was broken by the kick, but because it was completely psychological. As long as he thought of that, the fatal pain would still come even though he was not kicked. Therefore, his thing would not be hard for the rest of his life. Although he was not castrated, he had really been castrated in his heart and spirit. When Yang Dingtian jumped into the torn space, he just happened to see this tragic scene. Vulture broke Dongli's eggs again and again. Yang Dingtian summoned Neru from the space ring. She did not look at Dongli. At this time, she was curled up on a huge rock and kept twitching. She had no intention of escaping. Vulture could not help but look back. I asked your father to enter my space ring and bring him over. He is not willing. Yang Dingtian. Moreover, he can't come over. Everything about him is completely in the hands of the Dishi Bien. Vulture's beautiful eyes suddenly trembled, and she could not help but want to cry. If it was before, she would not be worried, because she really did not have any feelings for Willingzi. But now, Willingzi had really begun to protect her as a father. Will he die? Vulture asked. Yang Dingtian shook his head and said, No. Instantly, Vulture relaxed. As long as he did not die, it was fine. Moreover, Yang Dingtian said that he would not die, so he definitely would not die. Soon, Vulture threw this matter to the back of her mind and became happy again. After all, she had already escaped from the demon's den and was about to return to the human countries. She would be second only to one person and above hundreds of millions of people. Yang Dingtian stepped forward and directly threw Dongli into his space ring. Then, he led everyone to the west of the torn space. Sure enough, as Prince Li Ming expected, because they were worried that Cloud Sky City would be attacked, Neru and Yang Dingtian's soul swords left the torn space and flew towards Cloud Sky City. As for Yang Dingtian, he would turn around in the torn space and then randomly choose a direction to leave and return to the human countries. This would eliminate the possibility of being intercepted by evil ways. Of course, at this time, evil ways would not send people to intercept them. Queen Devil Queen and the others had already returned to the Empire of Darkness. The next day, Yang Dingtian led everyone back to Cloud Sky City. This operation could be said to be a real victory. Before returning to Cloud Sky City, Vulture was still thinking about how to be awe-inspiring, but when they were about to arrive, her heart was filled with uneasiness. Because she used to be the enemy of the Council of Light. Moreover, after becoming Shura Vulture in the Empire of Darkness, although she was loyal to Yang Dingtian, because she was afraid of death, she had always been working for evil ways. She could definitely be considered as helping the evildoers do evil, but she did not make any contributions. In the end, she realized that she was completely overthinking. Whether it was Qin Wanchou or Dongfang Minmi, their attitude towards her was very good. Especially Qin Wanchou, who even bowed and called her madam. Qin Huaiyu only joked about her. Song Lihua's attitude was even better. Only Song Chunhua's attitude towards her was not cold or warm. Therefore, Vulture decided that from now on, her main target would be Song Chunhua. Anyway, she used to call her sister, so there was nothing wrong with pleasing her now. Without mentioning Vulture's thoughts, everyone in the Council of Light heaved a sigh of relief when she was able to return. Although she had not been able to fully display her abilities, Vulture, as a heaven spiritualist, was really too heaven-defying. It could be said that she was the key core of both doomsday battles. In the meeting room of Cloud Sky City, there was only one topic discussed. What would Evil Ways do next? What should the Council of Light do next? After the first and second doomsday battles failed, it was impossible for Operation Viper to start a war. Then, the only thing Evil Ways could do was to seize the door to the human countries and open up a path to Little Western Paradise. However, with the current strength of Evil Ways, it was indeed impossible for them to seize back the door to the human countries. Unless, however, Princely Ming was so infatuated with Mu Dan that he would definitely not do that. Therefore, Yang Dingtian was faced with two choices. The first choice was to find Naga Shuang. The second choice was to solve the problem of Little Western Paradise and completely eliminate any worries. This choice was not easy to make, because Yang Dingtian really did not know what the Evil Ways would do. Would they seize the door to the human countries by any means? Or would they lay low and wait for the Demon King Wentian's return? Princely Ming locked himself in his room for a few days and nights. He did not eat, drink, see anyone, or say anything. Of course, he was not reflecting, nor was he in pain. He was just making a choice. This choice would determine the fate of the person he loved the most. Would he do nothing here and wait for the Demon King Wentian's return? Or would he take the first-class evil spirit from Dongfang Bingling and give it to Wulingzi? In that case, his side would have one more powerful saint-level warrior. And Dongfang Bingling would be liberated, which meant that he would lose Dongfang Bingling forever. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.